#1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you are doing on YouTube, there is a form down in the description where you can put your questions. Now, here's the thing. If you're watching this on the replay, I do want to let you know that during the stream, all of the content of this stream is based on the questions that people ask during the stream. So all kinds of really good and interesting and informative and helpful information comes out of this live stream. So we add timestamps to this so that it'll make it easier for you to find the content that matters the most to you. So all you have to do for that is you can go down to the description to see everything listed down there. Or if you look at the bottom of the player right now, you're going to see a bunch of little lines in there where everything's been kind of separated out. You can also scan across that as well in order to find what it is that you are looking for. And this works if you're on a desktop or on a mobile device as well. So with that out of the way, I do, for everybody hanging out here, I do want to let you know that today's stream is brought to you by StreamYard, which is the tool that I use to live stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. The reason that I use StreamYard is because it's super easy. For example, you can see here on this example screenshot that we have, all you have to do to bring on a guest is just click on this button and then grab an invite code. You can easily add graphics and other branding elements to your stream, including graphics and videos and things like that. You can add branding colors. You can have your name on the screen like you can see over here. You can have headlines on the screen, so you can put, your web addresses and things like that. But more importantly than like all of those features is that they make it to where they're hosting everything in the cloud. So if you have technical problems, StreamYard will keep everything open for you. In addition to that, they also record everything in the background. So instead of having to tax your computer big time by streaming and recording at the same time, they're doing everything for you in the cloud. So once your stream is complete, you can log into StreamYard and download your stream. So if you want to repurpose it or use it for anything else, then you have a copy of that as well, which is pretty awesome. But in addition to StreamYard, today's stream is co-brought to you by TubeBuddy, which is the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy has over 90 different tools that will help you with your YouTube channel. The most common ones that people use are they use the Keyword Explorer to help them rank better in search and to actually find the right things to target their videos for in YouTube search. They have an A/B testing tool to help you most effectively reach the people that you're trying to reach. And they just released last week this new feature that's available in the TubeBuddy Pro packages and the TubeBuddy Legend package, where they scan your videos and they let you know the areas that would make the best shorts. So then you can run this on your channel or on your videos, and then it will show you like, hey, viewers really enjoyed these parts of your videos, so you might want to consider making these into a short. And then they actually have the process, on their end to help you go and do that. But you can find out more about that at tubebuddy.com, or I've got a link down in the description, or you can go to tubebuddy.com/Nimmin if you want to give me some type of credit with that as well. So with all that out of the way, I hope that you had a fantastic week. I hope that you are excited to learn stuff about YouTube today. Go ahead, if you're on an iPhone device, or if you see that little, heart thing down on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, go ahead and start smashing that thing. Get some of those emojis rolling up on the screen. Today, we are answering your YouTube questions. So we're going to be, pulling the question directly out of the form that is down in the description of this live stream right now. I answer those questions for free, so you don't have to, pay anything. All you have to do is go down there and put your question in, and I answer them in the order that they are received. So as of right now, if you get your question in there, we will get it answered on the stream today, because there's not a lot of questions in there. So with all of that out of the way, let's see here. So somebody said, keep pressing, keep praising, says, yes, it was a super fantastic week. Love seeing that. Video for Bosses, nice to see you. Architectural Sheet Metal 101, hope you are doing awesome. My man, Shark Scrapper, nice to see you in here as well. Chantel, hope that you are doing great. Doug Houston YT, what's up, dude? Hope that you are doing awesome as well. And everybody else that's hanging out here, I'm excited to get going today, and we're just going to jump right into the content. So the very first question that we have here is from Paris Lazarus. Paris Lazarus says that they've been on YouTube they're getting ready to start their YouTube channel. So they haven't started yet. They are going to be doing anime and reaction content. The goal of the channel is to watch the best anime while building a community. And the question is, Let's see here. As a reaction channel, should I be uploading daily? I see some channels doing once a day while others do twice a day. This comes down to your cadence really, and it comes down to how much time you have and things like that. So, you know, it's more important to upload content that is good content that people respond to in a positive way than it is to just bulk upload a bunch of content. And what I mean by that is it doesn't matter if you're uploading 50 videos per day, if you haven't learned how to get people to respond positively to those videos in terms of clicking on them at a competitive rate. And then of course, you know, watching them for a competitive duration and then further engaging with them as well. Then in that particular case, it's not going to do you any good to upload videos every day or to upload 2 videos per day. But if you're like, hey, I've got this, and every time I publish a video, I get a decent amount of views on it. People are responding to this at a rate to where these videos keep getting views on them over time. In that particular case, you absolutely can, you know, upload 1 time per day or multiple times per day if you choose to. But one thing that I do recommend is that you do try to find some type of cadence that will be super comfortable for you, because when it comes to being a content creator, you want to make sure you're thinking about sustainability. People don't talk about this a lot, but when people first get started on YouTube, and I've been through this myself, you go, you know, hard because you're like, hey, I want to get through this learning curve so I can start getting some results here. And you put in way too much energy. I mean, I'm not going to say too much because it's not, like, sometimes it's needed, but you know, you put in tons of energy in order to, you know, learn everything that you can and make sure that you're getting all these videos up. Sometimes you end up staying up late in order to make sure that you can get videos up and things like that. And that can be good for a period of time, but it's not sustainable. So because of that, when it comes to your upload cadence, if you have a process or a system in place to where you can create content rapidly, and it's still good, high quality content that people enjoy, then in that particular case, then yeah, sure, upload a video today. But if you're like, hey, this is like, it takes me a ton of time to put these videos together, and if I make a video a day or 2 videos per day, it's going to just be like an all-consuming thing to where that's going to be pretty much all I'm doing with my life. In that case, then I recommend that you do give a, give yourself more space, because, you know, you need time to publish videos, and you need time to analyze those videos, and then you need time to make new videos based on what it is that you've learned through analyzing the videos that you've already published on your channel. So because of that, I recommend that if you're just getting started, that you start publishing videos and you just keep trying to make the videos as good as you can, but that you don't think of it like it's a sprint, like I have to publish, you know, videos every single day or multiple times per day. I recommend that you publish, see how people respond, publish again, see how people respond to that one, learn from both of those videos, apply what you learned to the next video, and then just rinse and repeat that process over time. So if that means that you're uploading 3 videos per week, that's fine. If that means that you're uploading 1 video per week because you're striving to make high quality content that people respond to, that's okay too. But if you're like, hey, I got the system down and I can do this every day, then, you know, by all means, if you have the time to do that and you think you can do it sustainably, then absolutely go for it. It's Terrence Kind of Thing says, I just appreciate you so much. Thank you, Terrence. I appreciate the kind words, man. So super appreciate that. Thank you. So next up on the list here for our questions, and just in case you're just joining us, I'm pulling the answers or the questions for these down in the form that is down below in the description. But K Skis is our next question here. They do gaming content. The goal of the channel is to make entertaining content and reach 100 subscribers. Go ahead, for everybody here, put in the chat right now how many subscribers you have. I'm just curious, just to kind of get a feel, because I know, I'm looking at, like Ron Trains and things. He has a bigger channel. I'm just curious to see, where everybody's kind of at right now.
What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech.
Viper, man about tech in the house. What's up, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Welcome to the stream today. Hope that you're doing awesome, my man. So let's see here. So we've got home repair. Oop, sorry, I passed that one. Let me kind of scroll back down here. Home Rapid Repair at 1,900, Dead Man Calm Outdoors at 1,000, Doug Hewson at 9,000, Ron's Trains and Things at 55, Beauty Food Chick at 2,400. We've got Lil Jester at 1,200, 558 for Blue Eyed Tech. We've got Bearded Iron here at 5,300. All right, yeah, looking good. We got T Handmade 141 Homestead at 935. We got 6K and 227 for Chantel. We got 1,100. Nice. Yeah, so we got a nice range in here, which is fantastic. Yeah, very cool. Love it. So yeah, this wages world here's got 60K. That's good. Slasher and Suits 20K, crushing it. Love seeing that. DJ Nana 37,000. Nice. Love seeing those big ones come in too, because I know what's behind getting those bigger numbers. So respect for you guys that are that are out there sweating it out. So let's see here. So the next question that we have here is from the gaming channel from K Skis. And they say, morning, Nick and D. D's not actually joining us right now. He's doing a stream tonight with Daniel on the StreamYard channel. So for, efficiency and whatnot, we're I'm doing it here and he's doing it over there today. But says, morning, Nick and D. Right now, I'm working on a video on an anime game that I haven't thought of a title yet, but I have a thought on what I want to do with the thumbnail. And from time to time, I check on one of my friend's channels who has over 1,000 subscribers, but his thumbnails are not worth clicking. If that's the right terminology. Now, Nick, you have seen my thumbnail yourself, so you know from experience if my thumbnails are clickable or not. But my question is, why is it that my friend's thumbnails get higher views even though he doesn't put a lot of work compared to my thumbnails where I put good enough into them, but I barely get 5 views? Okay, so first off, when it comes to your thumbnails, it's not just the thumbnail that makes a video move or makes a video get views. So that's step number one, because people have to click on what it is that you're doing for you to even register a view in the first place. But when people click on your video, once they land in your content, then their experience there is going to be what determines if YouTube continues to show that content or not. So if somebody clicks on your video at a high rate, they come into your video and they're enjoying your content at a rate that's competitive for the platform. Once they get to the end of your video, let's say they've liked your video, they subscribed to your channel, let's say they get to the end of your video and they click on your end screens, they watch more of your content, or they go explore your channel page, they watch more of your content there. All of that shows great signs to YouTube that people are enjoying what it is that you're doing. However, if people click on your video and quickly leave your video, and you can see all this in your audience retention reports, then your video isn't going to, end up doing that great long. It's not going to do that great long term. So because of that, you have to make sure that you are considering those things. But more importantly, so your friend that has the 1,000 subscribers. So with them, you say that, they publish their videos and people, respond better to their videos, even though they don't put in the effort that you put into yours. The thing when it comes to YouTube is we are not rewarded necessarily. I mean, effort does in a lot of cases add up to, quality, because, with effort, you're being more intentional. You're taking the time to do things right and things like that. So it typically ends up netting you better results long term. But when it comes to looking at what somebody else is doing and saying, okay, this person doesn't put any effort in and they're getting a better result, we're not rewarded by that. Like if it takes you 20 hours to make one video, and if it takes you 6 hours to put together one thumbnail for that video, and it takes you 2 hours to sit there and workshop a great title for that video, you're not going to get rewarded just because you spent that time. And a part of that is, when you're first getting started, it typically takes you a lot longer to do those types of things than it does, once you have experience. But even once you have experience, it can take a while. But the thing that I'm trying to express is you don't get rewarded for the time spent. You get rewarded by how viewers respond to what it is that you're doing. So even though from your point of view, your friend's content and their thumbnail isn't as good as what it is that you're doing, the world is making a different judgment than you are. So basically what it is that they are doing, if they're getting better results than you, that means that people are responding to their content in a better way than they are currently responding to yours. So what you have to do with that information is you have to say, okay, you know what? That's cool. I'm going to let them do their thing. And instead of focusing on them and what it is that they're doing, let me dig into my stuff and see how I can make my stuff better for the people that are coming in. So, as an example, like little details, like, how is my audio, compared to all of the other videos on YouTube? How does my camera look compared to all the other videos on YouTube? How are my edits compared to all the other videos on YouTube? How are my, thumbnails compared to, all the other videos I'm competing with on YouTube? How are my titles and so on, right? Because that's the things that you got to make sure that you're thinking about, because when you are, when you're comparing yourself to somebody else and you are factoring in your own bias, then your comparison doesn't really, it doesn't really hold up, because you are looking at what it is that they're doing through the lens of what you think is right and wrong based on, the content that you're making currently. And because of that, it just kind of leaves you in a spot to where, you could be looking at it, that is in a way that the majority of people don't look at it, or at least the people that YouTube is showing their content to, they could look at it, differently. So because of that, make sure that you, consider those types of things. But really, you know, when it comes to YouTube, you always want to pay attention to what other people are doing, especially in your space. You want to watch other videos of people in your space and just kind of see, you know, what it is they're doing, and see their, you know, videos that they publish that people respond to and things like that. So that kind of helps keep you in tune with what's happening like right now in the niche of content that you make. But at the end of the day, if you start really comparing yourself all the time to all the other people who make content like you, then instead of focusing on what it is that you're doing and making what it is that you're doing unique, you end up in a situation where you start essentially mimicking what other people are doing because you're just trying to get things to work versus like, okay, they're doing that. I'm going to let them do that, whatever. They're getting the results that they're getting. I'm going to figure out how to do this with my content and how to kind of carve my own path through this stuff. If you can take that approach, then you'll end up in a much better spot long term. Again, pay attention to what other people are doing, take notes on the videos that are successful and things like that. But at the end of the day, always race against yourself. And it's really hard to do too, because, you know, when it comes to this, like, you know, because all those numbers are public, right? In terms of, you know, view counts and stuff, and you get to go in, you get to see the comments they're getting and all of that. And it can be really hard to kind of hold that up. Like, okay, yeah, I see all this activity and I'm not there yet. And everybody else is getting this activity and I'm not, and it sucks. But the best thing you can do is focus on what it is that you're doing and just keep trying to get better, keep trying to understand your audience and what it is that they respond to. That'll get you further than any comparisons that you can do. All right, next up on our list here, we have One Step. One Step does, they do every other day content. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. Fighting games. The goal of the channel is to turn my passion and skills into a fun career. Question is, my dude, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing awesome. Says, hope you're doing well. Hey, forgive me as I might have asked this before, but I just want to double check. I think this can apply to all gamers. So my niche is fighting games. My long form, how many gamers do we have in here? If you're a gamer, just say me. But my long form content is all things fighting games. My shorts are all things fighting games, but my live streams are mostly fighting games because sometimes I just want to play a game. Are mostly fighting games. Got it. Because sometimes I want to play a game that's not a fighting game, but I want to stream, hang out with my members and subs, and have a good time. Is streaming on a non-fighting game hurting my channel? Should I take them down after I'm done? Any thoughts on live streaming outside of your niche would be appreciated. Thanks for all you do. So this is one of those situations to where when you make content, when you understand the reason for that content, it can answer questions like this. So for everybody here, when you're in a situation to where you're like, hey, I want to do this thing on my channel, but I'm not really sure, you know, if it's a great fit for, you know, my audience and all of that. First, think to yourself like, okay, what's the reason that I'm doing this? Am I making this content so that I'll get views on it? Am I making this content because it'll make me money? Am I making this content because, and I'm not talking about every single video in terms of I'm making every video because it'll do these things, but each individual video. Am I making this video because, you know, it's going to get me views, because it's going to make me money, because it's going to position me in some way? Am I making this video so that I can more deeply connect with my community? So in that scenario, I would say that, you know, doing other types of games during live streams would be okay as long as your community does come in and they enjoy that experience with you. But if you notice that when you do play those other games, people just don't respond to them as well, then in that case, then, you know, then you might want to lean more on the fighting stuff if you care about the activity. But if you don't care about the activity and you're like, hey, I'm just trying to, you know, for the people that are the most engaged in what it is that I'm doing, that enjoy just hanging out, I'm just trying to connect with them, then in that case, go ahead and play, you know, the other games as well, but just focus a majority of the content on the channel on the fighting games if that's what your value proposition is and if that's what it is that you're trying to grow your channel around. Because, you know, at the end of the day, like this stream you're watching right now, for example, these are like my lowest performing, you know, content that I put on my channel, but the purpose of these is, one, it helps, you know, just demonstrate that I know, you know, my stuff. Two, it's also to where, you know, I can just sit here and help you guys out. And this is like, you know, a thing that I do to kind of nurture, you know, the community around my channel. So, you know, with that, the purpose of this content, it's not to where like, hey, I'm trying to, you know, get as many views as I can possibly get on this. This is like, hey, I'm trying to, you know, kind of give back here with this information. And I'm trying to, you know, just kind of help people solve some problems that they might not be able to find the answers for, you know, elsewhere unless they pay for it. Right. So because of that, you know, that's the purpose of these. So with every video that you publish on your YouTube channel, and everybody should do this, with every video that you publish on your YouTube channel, you should think about that and think about, okay, like what is it that I'm actually trying to accomplish with this video idea that I have? So like if I were to make that video, if I'm trying to generate money with it, then in that case, what do I need to do to generate money with it? Do I need to, you know, sign up for an affiliate program? Am I just going to rely on ads for it? Am I going to ask for donations? Am I going to try to get a sponsor for this video? Like, you know, how exactly am I going to try to make money from it? If it's a video that I'm making for the sole purpose of just getting a lot of views on my channel, then in that particular case, you have to approach it in that way. So how do you approach it in that way? Well, instead of making it like niche within your niche, you want to make sure that you're making it as broad as possible topically within your niche. And then when you do that, then you're opening it up to as many people, you know, the potential viewers that you're trying to reach or the audience you're trying to target, you're opening it up to as many of those people as you know, can possibly reach, because the subject matter and the thing that you're showing or sharing or teaching or, you know, playing the game or whatever, like that's going to be the most likely to reach that larger amount of people. And you know that you need to take that approach because the purpose of that video is to get views. Same exact thing goes for subscribers. So if you're like, hey, I'm trying to get more subscribers, then you have to take that same exact approach. So what do I need to do? Do I need to maybe push a little bit harder on my call to action? Maybe these videos, I put a stronger call to action because I'm literally putting these out to add value, but also to try to increase subscribers. So because of that, if I'm making content for the purpose of increasing subscribers for this particular video, then what you have to do in that case is go and look through some of your other content as well. See if you've had anything that's driven more subscribers than the other content on your channel. And then you start thinking like, okay, how can you apply some of the concepts that you did there to this because it converted well for you? And then you can do additional things like, you know, the calls to action and all that. But when it comes to, you know, giving each video a purpose or giving each video a job, the whole idea is, one, it ensures that you're intentional about everything it is that you're putting out. It ensures that you understand why you're putting out each piece of content. And all of this is just part of like the bigger idea of content strategy, by the way. So if you start Googling around or watching YouTube videos about content strategy, everything that I'm saying will make a lot more sense. But basically, when it comes to content strategy, the idea is saying like, okay, these, you know, this content is for this purpose. I'm going to put this content in these places in order to help serve the purpose of, you know, that particular video. And then you just, you know, go through that. And when you are in that process, like one of the awesome things about it is it helps you track the right things, right? So like, for example, if you publish a video on your channel and the purpose of that video is to, like, let's say, nurture the community, then in that case, it's like, okay, well, if this one doesn't get tons of views compared to the other videos I get on my channel, but I get a lot of feedback and people are getting a lot of value from what it is that I'm doing, I'm totally cool with that. That's great because it's serving the purpose that I intended. But if you're making a video for the purpose of getting a lot of views so that you can, you know, drive, you know, the attention to the channel, right? So you can grow your community, then in that particular case, if it doesn't get a lot of views, then it's like, okay, let me change the thumbnail, let me change the title, let me kind of reassess what's going on here and try to figure out why this one didn't perform in the way that I wanted it to, because the intention was to get views on this and it's underperforming. So therefore I need to figure out why, right? So that I can do better next time. Or so I can make any adjustments that I can make, you know, like right here on the spot. So like when you know exactly what it is that you're trying to do with each video, then it kind of helps you build the expectations for those videos as well. Because the answer on YouTube, you know, a lot of people think that the answer is always that every video that you put out has to, you know, beat the other one in terms of like views and stuff. But if you understand that when you're publishing content to YouTube, that you're putting content out there and that content can work for you to serve like different purposes for you and your community, it can work to serve different purposes, then in that case, it helps you, you know, make sure that you are not make sure, but it helps you focus on the right things to track for that particular, you know, video that you put out. And if it doesn't do, you know, some of the other things that other people think that it should do, but it's serving what it is that you're trying to get it to do, then that's all that matters and it's doing its job and it's a success. But if you're like, hey, like I said before, I'm trying to use this to get more subscribers to get revenue, but like nothing's working, then in that case, you know, at least you've identified what it's for, and then you can start figuring out and going through the process of like, hey, I published this one so I can make affiliate sales, but nobody's buying anything. So for the next video, what can I do better? How can I sell it better? How can I focus on the features better? How can I focus on how it's going to impact, you know, the viewer, you know, in a more profound way, or, you know, whatever. But the idea is that you, you know, when you give each piece of content a purpose, you are tracking, you know, you're tracking the right thing. All right. So next up on our list, we've got Butcher Wizard. Butcher Wizard says they have a channel of saving money by cutting meat at home. Sounds cool. The goal of the channel is to increase my income. And the question is, I have a video that is 2 weeks old and it's picking up a lot of momentum. It'll hit 100,000 views today. How long do I wait to upload another video on a similar topic? Can I release a video on a different topic without hurting the momentum? Thanks for all the great advice. So I've seen on multiple, occasions where when a video is like thriving like that, when somebody publishes a video that, that it has impacted it, because then the newest video on the channel isn't that new video anymore. But that can also happen anyway after it just gets through that, first 7-day period, the first 28-day period, like that can happen anyway. But like if you're getting ready to hit 100,000 views, then people are responding well to that. So it will continue to get views over time. So give it a little bit of room, just kind of, give it space, but don't stop uploading because that one's doing well. You want to give it a little bit of space. And then what you want to do is the next video that you publish, you want to think to yourself, like, I'm not going to upload a video that's going to necessarily compete with this video. I'm going to upload a video that would be complementary to this video, because right now what's happening, and if you do this right, you can ride this big time. So basically with the video that's getting 100,000 views, that's going to hit 100,000 views today, and it's 2 weeks old, with that particular video, what you have to do is look at the content of that video and think to yourself, okay, the viewers that are going to be hey Brad, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. To where you want to think the viewers that are interacting with this video, what do I think that they are, getting out of this video? What questions do I think they might have? And you can, of course, see this in your comment section. What have people said, about this video, which you can see in your comments as well. And you compile all of that information and you say, okay, now the next video that I make is going to be a video that the people that watch this 100,000 people that watch this other video, that those people would be likely to enjoy. So it wouldn't necessarily be like a video that would be competitive with that video. It would be a video that would complement that video so that it would make sense for people that are watching that video to watch that second video. And the reason you want to think this way is because right now you have all of this activity that's happening on your YouTube channel around that one video that's bringing in a lot of views. And the best thing that you can do is give people more of what they enjoyed, but make it make sense, right? So it's like, if they watch that, then what would be the next video to where somebody that watched that video would be like, oh, wow, I need to check this one out, right? And then you want to make that video, because if you make something that's like the same exact video or like another version of that video to try to, kind of game it, then in that particular case, it can work against you because people have already enjoyed that video. So you want to make sure you're thinking of something complementary. Technically you could even go against it as well, but to pull them back in and kind of avoid messing up the trust that you've built in the original video, I would make something complimentary instead of, contradictory on that video. So basically, instead of making if that video is like, the best ways to cut meat at home, because that's your, content, best ways to cut meat at home, the next video that you put out could be the, worst, mistakes that you can make when cutting meat at home, right? And then that way it's like, okay, these are the best things. So people, watch that and like, hey, this is great. And they've just recently seen that content. So it's still in their brain kind of fresh. And then you publish this next one. It's like the worst ways to cut meat at home. Then it's like, okay, well, these are the best ways. So let me watch this worst ways so that I can make sure I'm not, like doing anything, wrong, so to speak. So you just want to make sure that you're thinking of something that's complementary, instead of trying to kind of repeat the same exact video. But congratulations to you on getting that success. The next thing you also want to make sure that you're doing, just as a heads up, with that video that's currently getting all the traffic, make sure that you are currently using your pinned comment. Basically, you can go to your comment section of that video. If you don't already have something pinned that people are responding to, then go to that video, write out a comment that recommends another video or playlist on your channel, and then pin that comment. You pin that comment by clicking on the 3-dot menu over on the right-hand side of your comment after you publish it, and then there's going to be a little option that says pin. Make sure that you're in screens, make sure that you're using them, because a lot of content creators, they just don't know to use them, or they don't know they're there or whatever. So I'm just saying, make sure that you use them, and make sure that your channel page is also set up. So I don't know how long you've actually or been on the platform, so to speak. But if you do have like a decent amount of content out there, then organize that content into playlists and put those sections or those playlists on your channel page as sections to help people more easily find more content on your channel that they want to watch. I would do that immediately, as in like right now, just stop watching or listen to this in the background and go do that, because all those views that are coming in, you can be sending them into additional content they can also enjoy as well. So just make sure that you do that so that you can fully capitalize on what's going on, because when they are interacting with that one video and they're enjoying it, then as long as they enjoy it, YouTube's likely to recommend that next video that you publish to them, and they're already recommending stuff from your archive to them. But if you can get them to watch more videos, then one, you're going to, multiply your views, you're going to multiply your watch time, all of that stuff. But you're also going to increase the likelihood of YouTube recommending more of your content to them in the future. So definitely make sure that you go through and you do all of those things. Hey, Cricket, hope you're doing awesome. Nice to see you in here today. Amy, welcome to the stream. Let's see here. So next up, we've got Blue-Eyed Tech. Blue-Eyed Tech says they do tech reviews. Goal of the channel says, I'd like to grow on YouTube and become a good resource for any tech-related questions people might have. And the question is, good morning, Nick. I hope all is well. It is. Hope all is well with you also. Says, I was wondering, what is the best way to reach out to companies to receive review units of tech products I'd like to review for my channel? I've reached out to a few companies over the past year, and while one did respond with a yes, all other companies gave me a no or just simply didn't respond. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. So first off, you want to make sure that you create a media kit. In that media kit, you want to make sure that you have, information about your audience, put that kind of front and center. And by information about the audience, what I'm saying is that you make sure that you put, like where your viewers are coming from, their age, ranges, all those things. So put, all those types of demographics in there. Also, if you know information about your audience, like in terms of like if the whole theme of your channel is that you like simplify tech for people that don't care about all the like super nuanced details of tech, but just want to know how to use it, then in that case, come up with something that sounds really good. You can probably use ChatGPT to help you out, come up with something that sounds good, that just explains who your audience is and the type of viewers that you're reaching, things like that. Put all those together in a media kit, as well as like some channel stats like average view counts and things like that they'll want to know, and then reach out to them again with that information. Make sure that you do not do it from a Google account set up. I mean, you can do it from a Google account, but instead it's better or more professional if you can do it from an actual website address. So like blueeyedtech.com, like your name at blueeyedtech.com, and then that way it presents you in a more professional way. But in addition to that, once you have your media kit available, also go and start connecting with the influencer marketing people at every company. And anybody here should do this. Even if you're a new channel, you should start doing this. You don't even have to have the conversations, but start connecting with influencer marketing people in your space that work for the companies that you want to, eventually work with. Just start connecting with them on LinkedIn. And then that way, when you make posts or you make videos, make posts on, all the social media platforms where they exist, and make sure that you're tagging them in all your posts. So then that way you can start being on their radar. You're already bringing attention to their products while at the same time bringing attention to yourself and putting you on their radar. And then once you get some regular, view counts on your videos, then in that case, that's when you start reaching out. You let them know that you've been promoting them for a while. You have your, media kit that you give them, and then you can start the conversations either directly with the people on LinkedIn through, chat, handle the whole thing, in a professional manner. Or you can just start sending out, blanket emails, to people. By blanket emails, I don't mean like the same email to a bunch of people. I mean, writing an email, letting them know very short and sweet what it is that you offer, exactly what it is that you're looking for, and the idea that you have for the video that would feature their product. And then by doing that, they'll have all the information they need. And some people may, participate, and some people still may not, but you're giving them everything they need in order to make a decision on to send you the thing or not. Keep in mind, because you are doing tech, when it comes to, tech content, in a lot of cases, like tech is, can be expensive. So because of that, the people that you are working with, they are going to be looking at, the return on their investment. And like right now I'm looking at your channel. I see that let's see here, 3 months ago, you uploaded 2 days ago and then 3 months ago. So right here, you're going to make a problem for companies trying to or agreeing to send you stuff. And the reason for that, let me see if you're doing any live streams. Hold on. Yeah, you're not doing live streams. Yeah, you just got a few shorts on the channel. So yeah, so like you're not being consistent yourself. And since you're not being consistent yourself, then it's likely that they're probably, it's going to be an uphill battle for you right now. So the first thing that I would work on is consistency, because, you have to remember that, as content creators ourselves, like we want them to send us stuff so we can review it. But you also have to think that, for everything that they send, it does cost money, even if they manufacture it, even if they have like the rock bottom rate on it before they send it to you, it still does cost them money. So if they're going to send something to somebody, they're going to send it to people that are, consistently uploading videos, people that are getting, at least, some videos, some views on their videos and stuff like that. So what I would work on right now is I would actually work on, the video side. I would work on that first. And then, once you, start getting a better response in the videos and you get the consistency dialed in, that's when I would start reaching out, because right now that 3 month gap that you had, it's just kind of like it's a bad look when it comes to reaching out to companies, because they don't know if you're going to publish that video and then ghost. And if they know anything about YouTube, they also know that consistency on YouTube in some form is also pretty important. So because of that, and the reason that's important, as an example, if you go into the Google help pages in YouTube, one of the things that they mention in there is that when you upload less, that your videos get recommended less. So if your videos are getting recommended less, then, if the influencer marketing person knows that, then that gap that you took, from not uploading content for 3 months, they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, this content's probably not even getting recommended hardly. And if you look historically at your channel, like you have 11 months ago is one piece of content, and then that follows from 4 months ago. So that's another huge gap in not making any videos. Then you didn't make videos for a month. And then you didn't make videos for 3 months from today. So, just that lack of consistency is just bad for the brand on your side, in terms of people looking at your, channel. You might be able to find, somebody that will work with you, but I would get the channel together first and get, your consistency together and all of that. And then start worrying about, getting stuff from sponsors. Next question we have here is from Javi and Jammy. Love the love the channel name. They do restaurant reviews. The goal of the channel is to make money doing what we like to do. And the question is, hey, Nick, we just reached 2,000 subscribers. High five, fist bump to you. Nice work. Says, when do you recommend activating channel memberships? Thank you. So channel memberships are extra work. They can be. So because of that, it comes down to, what it is that you're offering and all of that. So in some cases, people will offer, extra content. And if it's extra content, then it would be extra work. In some cases, people make it as just kind of like a thing that people can do as a way to just kind of support the channel. So if you are setting it up and you're like, we want to activate these channel memberships, then in that case, just think of what it is that you want to offer and then go from there. If you're like, hey, yeah, we want to, offer exclusive content for this, then in that case, go ahead and activate them, go ahead and make that exclusive content for people. But if you're like, we don't really want to do anything extra, but we would like to have it available for people to be able to donate, then in that case, make it a low fee and then, go ahead and just, activate it and then people can join if they want to. Or if you're like, hey, we want to really go all out and you want to create groups and make extra content and do meetups and things like that, then in that case, go ahead and plan for that stuff and go ahead and activate it, let people know that it's available and start doing it. So, if memberships are a good fit for you and what it is that you're trying to do with the channel, then there's no reason to wait, outside of just not having the bandwidth to do the stuff. But as long as you have the bandwidth or the time to do the stuff, then in that case, go ahead and activate it, because every day that you don't have your channel memberships enabled, is a day that you could possibly have people interacting with your videos that would have become a member, if they would have known that you had that membership available, but they didn't, because it's not even turned on right now. So even if it's just at a support level, then in that case, just go ahead and turn it on. Let's see here. So next up on the list, we got King CMC TV. They do gaming content. The goal of the channel is to monetize. The question is, hey, Nick, I've heard Have you heard of Subscribers Studio, which is a website that gets you 5,000 subscribers every month? Okay, so here's the thing. They don't do that. My wife wanted me to use this for my YouTube gaming channel, which is 500 subscribers. I told her that's a bad idea and I don't want to buy subscribers. And am I right about not buying subscribers? You want to gain authentic subscribers and viewers. One more thing, is it true to go for authentic views and trying to go for subscribers, even though both are good to have? Okay, here's the thing. You cannot buy real subscribers. Okay. The only way that you could technically buy real subscribers would be through YouTube advertising, or would be through buying a collaboration with someone else that could send traffic your way. Those are the only ways that you can actually buy subscribers. And even then, like, that's just buying the people, having to see your content. And it still doesn't mean that they're going to subscribe to your channel. But when it comes to buying subscribers in any capacity, it's actually against the YouTube terms of service. So you can get in trouble in terms of your channel if YouTube detects that you have bought subscribers. In addition to that, another huge problem is you are buying subscribers that most likely aren't even like humans in the first place, but two, they are people that are not going to respond to your content, because the people that you are paying to, provide you subscribers, they're just, having people bots go over and subscribe to your YouTube channel. And a lot of these services will be like, oh yeah, we have real human people and blah, blah, blah. They're sending bots to your channel. Don't ever use those services under any conditions. Doesn't matter how desperate you get for your YouTube channel. The worst thing that you can do for your channel, not the worst, but one of the worst things you can do for your channel is buying subscribers. So absolutely do not buy views, do not buy subscribers. All of that can work against you, and it can put you into a deep hole on YouTube, because what will happen is, let's say you went and bought 1,000 subscribers. Well, when you publish your video, then YouTube might show your content to some of those 1,000 empty subscribers, and none of those things are going to respond to the content, which then in turn is going to tell YouTube that your content is not received well by the people that are the most engaged in your channel, because they're engaged enough to subscribe. And then what's going to happen is your videos are just going to die. Like you're gonna, kind of really sabotage yourself if you do that. So by any means, never under any circumstances buy subscribers, likes, views, any type of engagement of any kind. Do everything organically. And by learning how to do it organically, and I know this part sucks, but by learning how to do it organically, not only are you learning how to do it, but you're learning the skill sets that you'll be able to apply to other things. You're learning the skill sets that you can apply to other platforms. You're learning the skill sets to where if this channel ends up being something that you don't want to do anymore, you can start another one, and based on the skills that you've learned, because you've learned how to grow organically, you'll be able to do it again and again and again and again and again until you just decide not to do it anymore. So, so because of that, never ever under any circumstances buy any of that stuff. Bearded Iron is our next question. They do health and fitness content. The goal of the channel is to help dads lose that dad bod. And the question is, hey, Nick, doing an awesome job as always. Thank you. Hope you're doing awesome. Says this live stream always makes my commute pass by a little bit easier. Hey, drive safe or sit safe. I don't know if you're driving or riding, but either way, do it safely. Says my question is an odd one. My second ever long form video went viral for me. At least it hit over 1 million views. That's fantastic. Says I've since released another 75 videos, but views have steadily decreased over time. That one viral video pushed hold on, let me find. This is a pretty big one, so I just lost my place here. That one viral video pushed lots of traffic to my other videos, but now that video has lost traction, my entire channel has shrunk. What you're dealing with is a very common thing on YouTube, but I'll explain that here in a second. I've won over 5,000 subscribers, but most were gained from that one video and don't interact with my other content, even though it's the same niche. The original video was my weight loss transformation. All other videos are details on weight loss and advice. For context, my videos, editing, and confidence have gotten a lot better over the year, but my old videos were hitting 4,000 views 12 months later. I feel my videos are better, but only hitting 400 to 500 views. I suppose my question is, can a viral video early in your career damage your channel, as it feels like YouTube pushed my videos to my subscribers who don't want to watch my content, and then YouTube presumes it must be a bad video? According to my analytics, nearly all of my views are subscribers. Doesn't really get pushed to a new audience. Sorry for the long question. Okay, so if your views are coming from subscribers, it's possible, all you have to do is go and look at impressions, because it's possible that if you have more impressions than you have views, then in that case, YouTube is showing your content to more people. People just aren't responding to it. So because of that, one thing that I would definitely do Inside of your YouTube analytics, and everybody can do this, inside of your YouTube analytics, you have a compare tool. The compare tool, it allows you to select that video that got 1 million views on it, and then you can compare that against any of the other videos on your channel. And what I want you to do is, first, you have to make sure that you're considering impressions, because what's going to happen is you're going to look at that video that had 1 million views and it's going to look like the numbers suck. But what I want you to do is I want you to go in the date range. I want you to go to like the first 7 days, the first 28 days of that video, and compare the stats of that video compared to like what's going on with like some of your other videos and see how they compare there. Also, go look at the traffic sources, look and see how people responded from the different pages on YouTube. So go and look and see, like, are you getting all the views on that video from like recommendations, or are you getting it from search? And then compare that with your other videos. Also, just look at the impressions, that you're getting on it, and see if you notice that your new videos just aren't getting like many impressions. And if that's the case, then you got to start working on the content. So what I recommend that you do is the video that you first put out, it looks like it's you just like standing there, at least here, I'm just kind of opening this here really quick. Make sure this is muted. Okay. Yeah, you can even see people kind of skipping through this one as well. So yeah, like a lot of it is just kind of you and all these pictures, just kind of showing your progress and telling your story, right? So people were probably following along with this for your story. So not necessarily like, hey, here's some tips on how to lose weight, but like, this is my story and this is how I did it. And that probably compelled people to watch. So, so you might want to use that as a lead. If now you're like, you're doing something differently, like, trying to teach people how to do the same or something like that, lean more on the story side of things, like you did on that video that did well, because that demonstrates that you can tell stories, that, that people do respond to you in that way. So because of that, I would actually go in and I would start working on the story side of all of the videos that you publish. And I see here, hold on, let me see what you're doing most recently. Yeah, like you have, like skinny fat, don't worry, here's how to fix it. Calorie deficit, 5 signs you're on bearded iron, 5 signs you're in one. So a few different things is like with your titles, for example, you have like bearded iron in all of your titles. You don't need to do that. In addition to that, you have like some of the imagery you're doing great on. Some of the imagery, it's just like you in here with a bunch of text. Instead of focusing on imagery like that, focus on like the things that people trying to lose weight would, resonate with, to where it would actually stand out for them. But some of them you're actually doing that. And, the thumbnails are actually good. There's minor things that you could do that would make them a little bit better, but like your thumbnails, some of those express the imagery right. But I would definitely dig into like what it is that you're doing with your titles, compare your videos, so that you can see like what performance looks like, because you have that video with over 1 million or almost 1 million views on it. That particular video, it has clues all over it in terms of like what you need to do to get like all of your videos doing better. So what you want to do is you just want to go analyze the heck out of that particular video, but just make sure that you're keeping impressions in mind, because when you get a lot of impressions on a video, it pushes down everything. So it pushes down like your audience retention, it pushes down your click-through rate on every surface, all of that. So because of that, you just want to make sure that you're being mindful, of the impressions, but that you're looking at the, overall stats of that video, so you can see, like what it is in terms of like when people respond in this way, the video does well. But then that's just a reflection of the actual video itself. So then what I want you to do is I want you to go into your audience retention reports and start watching that video that you already made that, that did well, and start theorizing every little part of the video and being like, okay, why do I think people found this part interesting? Why do I think people found this part interesting? And take notes on your own video and start coming up with all these theories while you're watching the video of why you think people, continued watching those parts, and then try to apply that similar idea and all of those theories that you had to new content. And by doing that, what you're going to do is you're going to learn if those theories that you're coming up with are accurate or not, and you're going to quickly identify the theories that you come up with that are correct and the ones that are not, and then you're going to lean obviously into the ones that are correct, and you're going to lose the ones that are not. So because of that, what's happened is your very first video is a story, not your very first video, but the video that took off, it's a story. Whereas the other videos that you're putting out now, they're like tips, right? their tips on like, you know, how other people can do it. So it's a different experience for the people that are interacting with the content. So the approach that you're doing, like if you want to keep doing, you know, that and teaching other people, that's fine, but you might just need to figure out another way to format the content and maybe wrap it around a story if you want to take that approach in order to, you know, get people to respond to the content in a better way. Hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions about that, hit me up on Twitter because I love the mission that you're on here. So if you have any questions about that, like shoot me a DM on Twitter. Let's see here. So next up on the list, we've got Shad Ben Matt. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And really quick, we had a, I think I saw a super chat come in. So let me hit that real quick. We had two. So the very first one here is from Rachel's Diary. It says, what's the best way to optimize shorts? So when it comes to YouTube shorts, because YouTube shorts can show up in search on Google and on YouTube. So because of that, make sure that you are filling out the descriptions. A lot of people don't use description on shorts. I even have some that I've put out that I don't put descriptions in for the sake of, you know, the experiment, but like, you know, you want to make sure that you're putting your descriptions in your shorts as well, because some context can be had from that. Also, you just want to make sure that you have, you know, a good title, and you also want to make sure that you're really focused on like the first thing people see and hear in the video. So you just want to try to make those first things that people see and hear in the video as impactful as you possibly can, because that's that thing where people are deciding. As soon as you slide up, you've got just a super minimal amount of time for somebody to go, nah, right? So because of that, you want to make sure that you're really capturing people's attention. And if possible, depending on what you're doing, that you actually wrap it around them, right? Wrap it around the viewer so that it's, you know, it's about you and what it is that you're doing, but it's really about them, right? But the idea though, is that you want to, you know, make sure that you're just hooking them as soon as your video starts. So don't waste any time there, and just get them into the, you know, actual content of your short, but fill out your description, and make sure you are, you know, trying to write, you know, as compelling of a title as you possibly can. People don't have to click on shorts, they just show up. However, shorts do show up in the short shelf on home pages and things like that. And if you can pull somebody into a short shelf, it's a really good chance they're going to stay in there for a while, which will help your short, because you're helping YouTube keep the viewer on platform. So because of that, you want to think about all of those things. Chasing My Asian Queen is the next channel. They say, thank you for all your information. It's helped me gain subscribers. I hit 500 subs yesterday. High five and fist bump to you. Nice work. There we go. Yeah, nice work. Congratulations to you for hitting 500 subscribers on your YouTube channel. Love it, love it, love it. Oops, I clicked on the wrong thing there. Okay, so next up on our list here, we have, did I answer this? Okay, so next up we've got Shad Ben Matt, and they upload when they have time. And let's see here. Yes. Well, it's not that yes, people do read descriptions in shorts, but not that much. But this is more about just the system getting context. So, and I'm answering your question here, Rachel Diaries. So it's not necessarily for, that's like the one thing that isn't necessarily for people. This is more just so you can fill that information out, because YouTube does look at descriptions for context. It looks at the video content. It looks at the things that are being said and shown in the videos. It looks at the titles of the videos, and it looks at the description of the videos to get context on what the video is about. So because of that, you want to make sure that you're using all of those features in order to, you know, tell YouTube what the video is about, so that YouTube can show it to the right people. Let's see here. So next up we have Shad Ben That, and I'm really going to answer your question, Shad Ben That. Shad Ben That's like, come on, you stopped like 2 times. Come on, Nick. But the type of channel says, my channel revolves around my Twitch account. The goal of the channel is to make it my career. And the question is, I restarted my channel, wanted to know if deleting old videos would help push my newly formed content. So when it comes to your channel performance, the only thing you want to think about when it comes to old content is, with the new content that I'm publishing on the channel, if somebody comes in and they love that content, and then YouTube recommends this video that I made, you know, this older video that I have on my channel, is it still something that person could be interested in? If the answer is yes, because it's like, you know, topically similar, it's in the same niche or whatever, then in that case, like, leave it on there. But if it's like, well, now I'm making gaming content about Super Mario Brothers, and this old content on my channel is about, you know, how to ride a wheelie on a bicycle, then in that case, you probably want to remove the bicycle video so that you can focus it all on the gaming content that you're making. Crypto Alchemist, thank you for the kind words. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. So next up on the list here, we have, let's see, quotes that you need. They do bi-weekly content. The type of channel, it's a quotes channel. The goal is to improve people's lives. And the question, hey, Nick, does turning on ads on videos affect views? No, they do not. So when it comes to advertising on YouTube, that system is a different system than YouTube itself. So YouTube does not look at if you have ads turned on or not to determine if they are going to give your video an impression or not. Next up, we have Lyrical is the name of the channel. They do comedy content. The goal is to monetize. And the question is, I do comedy, plus I'm thinking about starting a new YouTube page for my health products. How do you get people to buy products by marketing on YouTube? Great question. I've never been asked this during a stream before, I don't think. So when it comes to getting people to buy products by marketing on YouTube, first thing you got to consider is time versus money, okay? So what you have the opportunity to do right now is with YouTube, if you don't have a lot of money to spend on advertising, you can just make organic content and basically make content that the people that would be using your product would be likely to interact with. And then during that, then you introduce your, products to them, just in the content. You can do it in a bunch of different ways. So as an example, like when a video first starts, you're like, right as you are, coming into the scene, you have, a name that pops up and it has like your name as an example. Then right underneath your name, then it can be, like a link to your website or, something like that. So you're spreading awareness there. In addition to that, you can also have another lower third that pops up like later in the video. And then at the end of the video, you can let them know, hey, if you've enjoyed this video, we have, a website where you can get more information. We also have some things available there, blah, blah, blah. And then by doing that, you are, essentially spreading awareness about what it is that you offer. And as long as people respond well to your videos, and those videos will get recommended to more people. So then you'll have scale at your favor. Next is if you have, money, but you're like, I don't have a lot of time, then in that case, you could just use YouTube advertising and just target the people that you're trying to go after, or you can use influencer marketing. One little trick one thing that you can do is if you did want to spend money to bring attention to your products, then in that case, if you have hop on YouTube search, look for the thing that you sell or the problems that your thing that you sell solves. Look in YouTube search for that. And when you look for those problems, you're going to see all these videos with the solutions to those problems. And then you want to advertise on those videos because those are the specific videos that people are watching that would lead them into your product. Another thing that you could do is reach out to those people that make those videos and try to get them to make, a video on your behalf that you're going to have to pay them for. But again, if you just want to do it organically, then in that case, all you got to think about is, okay, I'm going to publish videos on YouTube. Who is it that I'm making these videos for? So if if your avatar for the product that you're selling, if you have that defined, then you can say, okay, for these people, what type of content are they most likely to watch on YouTube that would lead them into my product? And then you make that type of content. And then throughout that content, you make sure every video description has a link to your, product or service in it. And you also make sure that you are, spreading awareness through some of the ways that I mentioned before. And you can also do reviews of your own product and things like that in order to bring attention to it. But the really easy thing is just like, okay, all of the problems that the people who use my product have, I'm going to make a video and help them solve every one of those problems. And that video can be sponsored by, or it can, sponsored by you and your company, or it can be a video to where you're just, you mention the thing, but you want to make sure that you're giving them value in the actual video content itself. You're not uploading commercials to YouTube. You are getting people to know, like, and trust you through adding value to them through your content. And then from there, if they enjoy what it is that you're doing and they're getting value from you, when you have those messages in there to check this out or check that out, or I've got links to it down in the description, there'll be a percentage of your audience that will go down there and check those things out. And then that will bring, awareness to your stuff as well. Let's see here. Also, make sure, like, when you're setting up your channel page, you want to make sure that you have it like in your channel art, and make sure that you have it, linked up, there as well. So as people are exploring your page, they'll find it and all of that too. Let's see here. Let me refresh this. Thanks, Chantel. Let's see here. So Danico Tart, thank you for the super chat. Says, hey Nick, I usually list type content about gaming, gaming and influencers. I know I need to get into the content quicker because my dips are mostly in the first 30 seconds. Any tips for retention on list videos? The goal is to monetize. So when it comes to making list videos or just any videos, so a dip in the beginning is really common on YouTube. The question is like, how far does that dip go, right? Because you want to catch people as fast as you possibly can, but it's normal for, when a YouTube video starts for you to see, some type of dip there. But the goal on your end is to catch that dip as fast as you possibly can. But you know this already. So what you want to do is you want to start experimenting on your channel to see what it is that people respond to best. So some ideas for you is the very first is if you're on camera, start your video with you on camera saying exactly what it is that you're going to be sharing with people, see how they respond to that. If they don't respond well to that, then try showing other footage, maybe things that you're going to be talking about later in the video, something like that, but you're showing those things on the screen while you're talking underneath it, right? So you still have the vocal track going and then you're showing different footage other than yourself, see how people respond to that. You also want to do the same exact thing, like if you're using music in your videos, try experimenting with not having music. If you have it to where people are leaving your videos and all the things that I mentioned, then in that particular case, starting it to where maybe you do some type of like build up to the actual content if possible, to where you have like a little scene setting, moment where, when your videos first start, and just experiment, through your content to see if you find something that people respond to better there. In addition to that, what you say and show at the beginning of your video and how you set up your videos from the outside is super important. So when you are putting your thumbnail and title together, and this right here, for everybody here, this is like a power tip. This is why it's so important to think about what your title is going to be and what your thumbnail is going to be before you make your video, because your packaging, your thumbnail and title, they create an expectation for the viewers they're coming into your video. If that expectation doesn't seem like it's getting met right away, or there's no confirmation of that expectation, then people are going to start leaving the video and it's going to be harder to catch them. However, if you, create a good expectation on the outside, and then as soon as they click on the video, you're matching their meeting that expectation, or just letting them know it's coming, or the specifics of it coming, or, in that, then what's going to happen is they're going to feel more satisfied right out of the gate, and they're going to stick around because they're going to feel like they're getting, what it is that they expected to get when they came into the video. So because of that, make sure that you are planning that part ahead as well. Because that can make a really big difference on your audience retention. Another thing to make sure that you're thinking about when it comes to grabbing people at the beginning is experimenting with things like, some people will start their videos and they'll be like, yeah, I was thinking about blah, blah, blah. And then other people will start their videos and they'll say, you want to make sure that when you do X, Y, Z that you, right? So making it, other things you can experiment with is making it about them instead of about you. Or if you're making it about them now, switching it up and seeing if they respond better to that. But the idea is that you just have to experiment like crazy in that first part until you find a way to bring up the drop. So if you find that you have a consistent drop and they usually land in about the same place, then in terms of like you stop the drop, around like, let's say, okay, I'm stopping the drop around like 75%. And I stop that drop usually within the first 7 seconds or something like that, then in that particular case, that's like, okay, if that's what I normally get, I'm trying to get that better, then in that case, I just have to keep running tests until I can find a way to, inch that up a little bit. But the idea is when you are, publishing videos to your channel, you have to go in and analyze everything it is that you're doing. So another thing that I recommend that you do is go into all of your past content, and this is going to take some time and it's going to be, a little bit of a pain, but go into all of your past content and find the videos. I mean, you can do some of this in analytics. You can also use TubeBuddy. If you're a TubeBuddy user, they have the retention analyzer to where you can actually see like these are the videos and these are, where people were watching at these different, segments in the video. But go and find all the videos that actually grabbed people more in the beginning and start looking at those and start looking for patterns in terms of like, hey, it seems like when I do these things, when my videos first start, people tend to, stick around a little bit longer. So if you go through like all of those things, you should be able to, get people, to stop a little, or to stop that drop a little bit faster. But in addition to that, even with that drop, so keep in mind, when people are watching videos, and you see this, everybody here probably sees it on your videos. When you publish a video and it's just going like this, over time, you can apply that same concept that I just went through your entire timeline. So basically you can be like, hey, I'm really good at, catching people, right here. But, once I get them past this part, I'm just always losing people here. So then if you want to, you can go in and you can say, okay, well, what can I start doing around this area to where I can start, trying to re-engage them in some way. And then you start, experimenting on those areas. So, this whole thing, it's a process of, learning, like, how to craft the videos in a way that, your viewers respond to best. Renee Ritchie, he mentions that some of the drop is also coming back and pausing to read/leave comments, grab or share links, or just left after up next. And by just left after up next, what that means is, for those of you that are like just getting started, is when people watch one video on YouTube, YouTube has that default next video that they'll just drop the viewer into after they watched one. And if that particular video doesn't, grab their attention right out of the gate, or maybe just topically, it's just not that like perfect fit or whatever, then in that case, people will just start, leaving that particular video, and that can cause some of that drop as well. So thanks for that additional info, Renee. Appreciate it, man. So let's see here. So next up, we've got Aperture Movement. Aperture Movement says, I've been busy and I neglected my YouTube channel for 4 months. I wonder if I should change the thumbnails and titles of my old videos to revive them. You can definitely experiment with that. But, I would just get back to, as Renee would say, get back to contenting. But, just get back to, making videos and, just get yourself back in motion again. If you're like, hey, I need to do something to get myself, back in action and back involved with this, because this break has kind of left this big like void, so to speak, then in that case, do that. Start going in, messing with your thumbnails, titles, see if you can get a better response there. But hop back on the horse and make another video, because that will probably do more for you than going back in and, and messing with the older content. Tube Spanner in the house. What's going on? Danielle says, to grow the channel, I've been experimenting with shorts. I've certainly gained more views, but my legs are freezing. Ooh, always good ones. Love it. Absolutely love it. So next up on our list is, let's see, Jacker Crackers. Jacker Crackers does bi-weekly content. The type of channel is their life as an expat in Singapore. The goal of the channel is getting subscribers. And the question is, I have 2 questions for young YouTubers going to school. If you have a lot of friends and the popular kids from school and they find your channel and they like it and start saying and coming up to you, your channel's cool or something like that, but as an introvert, what would you do? I'm not sure. I really don't know. It's been so long since I've been in that environment that I really have no idea. I'm not sure how I would react in that scenario. But on the other hand, you're bullied about your YouTube channel. What would you do? So for that one, I would just lean into it more. Just on my personality, that particular one, I would just lean into it more. I'd be like, hey, people are giving me a hard time about this, so I'm going to do this even more just to like use them as fuel to do better with this, right? That's what I would do in that particular case. But for the first one, in terms of like, they're like, hey, this is cool, whatever. I guess in that case, just being like, cool, let everybody know about it, help me spread the word about it, because I'm trying to grow my channel really big. So every person you can send my way that, that would enjoy this content, please do. I'd really appreciate it. And then for the bullies, just, eat them for fuel, eat them for fuel to achieve the goals that you're trying to accomplish with your channel. But then you say, for context, I once had to get stitches after being hit to a wall at school and my face bleeding and getting an ambulance to the hospital and getting stitches. I'm sorry to hear about that. Says, Nick, have you ever been injured or severely injured, meaning broken bones? Yes, I have. Also, everyone at my school now says, I love your channel and comes up to me, but I'm shy and I don't know how to handle having fans. What is your best fan experience? Oh, it's interesting. So, my best fan experience would probably be the first one that I ever had, just because it was one of those things like, oh, whoa, somebody like in the real world knows me. So the first time that somebody recognized me from my YouTube channel was at Best Buy near my mom's house. So basically, anytime I go to the States for a conference, I go and I hang out with my mom, and we went to Best Buy because I always go shopping when I'm there because I can get some stuff there that I can't get here. So I'm like, hey, let's go to Best Buy, see if any new tech is out, whatever. And we were in Best Buy, and this guy comes up and he's like, oh my gosh, watch your YouTube channel. Well, first he's like, are you Nick? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh my gosh, I watch your videos. And in his particular case, he was a cook. Before he worked at Best Buy, he was a cook, and he would just listen to these live streams like the entire time that he was, you know, a cook. So basically, like every day he would go into work and he would just listen to past live streams, past videos and things like that, because he was interested in starting a YouTube channel. So he would just listen to like all of that. So then when he like saw me in the store, you know, it was a pretty big deal. So now you like when I go back to visit my mom and stuff, sometimes, you know, we'll meet up and have coffee or whatever. Really cool guy. But but for me, that was like the coolest one because it was the first, right? In terms of, you know, how to handle things like that, everybody handles stuff like that differently. Some people are like, you know, hey, this is great. Other people just want to go crawl in a hole somewhere because they don't like that extra attention. You know, just because, you know, it can be awkward, you know. So, you know, because of that, what I would do is I would just, and this is going to sound like really weird, but I would just spend time just thinking about it and think about like what it means and think about like your side of it, and also think about what it means for the other people that are also like, you know, that are also kind of looking at you in that way, and just think of, you know, from your perspective and the type of personality that you have, just think of, you know, the best way to kind of navigate that in order for you to, you know, to be the most comfortable. Let's see here. Next up on our list here, T's Hot Mess History. Nice to see you in here. Little Crafty Nook, nice to see you. Daniel Batal in the house. What's going on? Hey, everybody. So when it comes to Daniel Batal, him and my brother D are doing a live stream here in a couple of hours here on the StreamYard YouTube channel. They're going to be doing channel reviews over there, so make sure that you tune into that. As this stream ends, I'll be sending people, you know, over there through the redirect anyway. So just make sure that you, you know, stick around for that if you want to get your, you know, channel checked out. So Ethan's Custom Lures is the next one. They do painting custom fishing lures. Oh, that's cool. The goal of the channel is to teach people how to paint custom lures. And the question is, I always just put a custom lure as my thumbnail with very little to no words. Do you have any thumbnail suggestions for my niche? I personally think that that's probably the best thing that you can do, is just taking like a really good, very well lit photo of the awesome lures that you're creating. And then that way, for people that are into fishing, they would recognize a lure. So just make sure that everything about a lure that would cause it to be identified by somebody that's into fishing, make sure that all of that is visible, and then keep adding those in your thumbnail, and just, you know, make those images as good as you possibly can, because the whole idea there is to just get the people that are into fishing to recognize that that has something to do with fishing. Other things to experiment with is maybe having like, you know, like the lure with maybe like sitting on something in like a natural environment. So say it's sitting on like a picnic table or something in a regular environment, and you have this close-up shot of it, but like in the background you can see that it's kind of, you know, at a lake or, you know, something like that, so that you're just kind of like stacking up that imagery that they might identify to be able to connect with that as, you know, something that they're interested in. So I think that what you're doing with not putting words in there, I think that's a good move. However, one thing that is very important when it comes to YouTube is experimentation. So because of that, I would test some with, you know, like 1 word or 2 words and just kind of see if people respond to it or not. But don't do it, you know, too often. Just run like a, you know, handful of tests, and you can just kind of swap out some of the ones that you have that are maybe underperforming and see if you can use like, you know, a word or up to 3 words to you know, kind of illustrate what it is that you're doing. But really, with that type of, you know, thing that you're doing, I think the lure by itself will probably end up being the winner. But still experiment with it, because, you know, sometimes, you know, I'm wrong, and because of that, you want to make sure that you're experimenting. Let's see here. So next up, we have Dead Calm Outdoors. I say sometimes I'm wrong. I'm wrong like all the time. I was probably wrong today a bunch of times. So next up, we have Dead Calm Outdoors. Dead Calm Outdoors does saltwater fishing, vlogging, and how-tos. The goal of the channel is to help people saltwater fishing and make some money on the side. And the question is, good morning, Nick, and thank you for all your help. Good morning. And they say that I've heard that uploading consistently is key to growing on YouTube, but what if you can't upload consistency? If you go out and catch well, hold on. If I go out and do catch fish, I don't upload. Is this hurting me? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Okay. It's a really good question. So when it comes to consistency on YouTube, you want to be interacting with your community, you know, on a regular basis. And the reason for that is because one, there's all this content going out there and people are watching like all this different stuff anyway, but you just want to make sure that you are, just uploading on a regular, schedule. And the reason for that is because it builds in some type of expectation. Like, for example, there's a lot of people here that know that unless I have some type of like tech problem or, something else is going on, like I'm going to be here on Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. It's just what I do. And because of that, people know that. So because of that, some people have worked showing up here into their schedules. So, they wake up, they're having coffee. Hey, let me listen to Nick in the background while I'm commuting or, while I'm, cleaning the house or while I'm getting ready for work or whatever the thing is. And they can just kind of, work it into what it is that they're doing so they can learn about YouTube while they're doing other things. So when you are consistent, then it helps the people that are interacting with your content be able to depend on you showing up, right? Because like one of the things about consistency from my perspective is that like if you aren't going to be showing up, you can't really expect the viewers to show up either, right? Now with that, I don't want to confuse consistency with the need to upload like every day or every week or anything like that. It's possible to be consistent to where you're uploading like once every 2 weeks or once every month, but the content that you're actually uploading is just like really high value content and people respond to it in a great way. You can even have a cadence like that, but you still do it like clockwork so that people can depend on it. So, like in my case, my consistency has faltered. And if you look at my stats, because my consistency on my video uploads has faltered, my live streams have actually ramped that up. But like my consistency on my video uploads has faltered while I'm running the experiment on like what I can do with the channel with just live streaming. And because of that, you can see like if you had access to my analytics, you can see that I've had, some drops and stuff. I'm not converting subscribers at, as high of a rate and stuff like that because, I'm just not putting out the content that typically drives that kind of stuff. So like when it comes to, that consistency, it's important because, it ensures that one, you're fresh in people's, most recent recommendation histories. So then they're more likely to get recommended your content as long as they're enjoying the content that they're interacting with. And again, most importantly, it ensures that, that you're, consistently publishing to the channel, which is a thing for you as the content creator. Because one thing that's really easy is and I've seen this happen to tons and tons and tons of people, is you start out rock solid consistent. No matter what, hell or high water, I'm uploading on, these days of the week or this day every single week at this time, whatever. And then it's like, well, I'm busy right now with all this stuff that's happening with YouTube. So I'm busy right now. So I'm going to miss this upload. And then they get back to their, every single, upload that everybody expects. And then it's like, okay, well, I'm busy again, so I'm not going to upload this week. And then, I'm really busy, so I'm not going to upload next week either. And then, they keep going through that process. And the next thing you know, they're just not uploading videos to YouTube anymore. So, because of that, the consistency on your end as a content creator of consistently working the process of creating content into your lifestyle, that part will ensure that you'll also keep doing the thing on your end too. Because if you're not consistently doing it, it's easy to just kind of put it down and walk away. And the next thing you know, it's 6 months later and you haven't uploaded any videos, right? So, so because of that, you definitely want to stay consistent in some capacity. The Beauty Food Chick says live streaming is your thing though. It is. And, but here's the thing though, like if I was just starting my channel and I was like, hey, I'm trying to get this thing moving as fast as I can, I would not just be doing live streaming. I would be uploading videos, 3 times per week. And I would be doing a live stream. And right now I'd be putting out like shorts every day. I would be grinding it out there. But when it comes to, what I enjoy most, I enjoy live streaming more than I enjoy doing anything else on my channel. I like live streaming more than I like making videos. I like live streaming more than I like making shorts. I just love live streaming. It's great. So I even live stream on other channels. So that's how much I like live streaming. So yeah, live streaming is something that I really, really enjoy. So that's kind of the thing that I, ensure that I, keep doing because, I really enjoy streaming. It's great. Okay, next up, we've got Ty Ryan, T Ryan Learn Bikes. They do bi-weekly content. The type of channel is motorcycle maintenance content. The goal of the channel is to help people maintain their bikes on their own. And the question is, would you recommend posting on the community tab daily? So you can, but I would actually just post on the days that you're not posting video content. And the reason for that is because both of them can show up on like home pages and stuff. Since you do have the option to schedule community posts, then in that case, one of the things that you can do is you can say, okay, well, if I know that I upload every Monday and every Thursday, then in that case, I have the other days of the week that I'm not doing anything. So I'm going to go ahead and just schedule up a bunch of posts to fill in those days. And I'm going to be asking people, polls. I'm going to be sharing pictures of, behind the scenes stuff or whatever. I'm going to be sharing some videos in there and linking to, content to pull people back into the channel. I'm going to, be doing like image post. Like I'm just going to be using the heck out of my community feed on the days that I'm not uploading content, just for the sake of, that same thing, just kind of, keeping people interacting with what it is that you're doing and giving you the chance to, interact back through all the comments and all of that. So, so because of that, I don't say that you have to do it like daily, but I just do it on the days that you're not uploading. If you're like, hey, I'm trying to like really get this, thing going, I'm really trying to keep people engaged and all that, then I would just sit down, go through like a week at a time if you want to, scheduling community posts, or a month at a time scheduling community posts, so that you can just make sure that you do, get them out on a regular basis and that you just keep that engagement rolling. Next up, we got Shebin That. I think we did this one already, but says the type of channel says my content comes from streams. The goal of the channel is to make it a career. And the question is, what are some things that I need to do to successfully restart a channel? First, get clear on what it is that you want. Like one of the things that I see a lot with content creators is that people will publish videos and they don't really have any real direction. Like they don't even know like what it is they're trying to do. They're just like, hey, I'm gonna stay up until 4 a.m. working on this video that I'm gonna publish on my YouTube channel, and I don't even know why I'm doing it. Right? I just want like some views, or I want subscribers or whatever, but like I don't really know why it is that I'm doing it. Right? So in my opinion, the first thing that you should do when it comes to restarting your channel is just getting super clear on what it is that you're actually wanting to do. And the reason that you want to do that is because the next step in what it is that you want to do is thinking of, okay, if this is what I want to do and this is the value that I want to provide, who am I going to give that to? Like, who is it that I'm actually going to target with this content? And then you want to make sure that you define that as well. And then from there, and I hate to do this to you, Renee, but I have to, just because I love the tagline. From there, as Renee Ritchie would say, and I'm going to give you credit every time I say it here, because I'm just in that mood today to say this a lot. But as Renee would say, then get with the contenting, right? Because that's just such a good, I love that. Absolutely love it. But anyway, I won't do it anymore, Renee. Sorry. But the thing is like, get those two things under control. Once you know why it is that you're doing the thing, once you know who it is that you're making content for, then all you have to do from that point is start thinking, okay, what's the next video that I can publish in order to, to serve that particular audience, what it is that I'm going to, the specific value that I'm going to be, bringing to them. And then you just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat through that process. Other things you can do, just since we're on it, is another thing you can do is like, let's say that you are, that you took a break from the channel for like, let's say a few months or whatever, and then you're coming back to the channel and you're like, okay, I'm coming back to the channel and I'm still going to be making the same type of content. I'm still going to be doing the same thing because I know what it is that I'm doing it for, and I know who it is I'm making content for. I just haven't been doing it. Then in that particular case, what you want to do is you want to go and you want to look at the, go into your YouTube analytics, go and look at the videos. All you have to do is as soon as you hit the analytics page, you're going to scroll down and you're going to see all the videos that are bringing in the viewership on your channel over the last 28 days. So all you have to do is look at that content. That's going to tell you the content that people are the most engaged with in your channel right now. And then think to yourself, like, what's the next video that I can make that would serve these people that are interacting with this content right now? And then, start making those videos. Next. All right. We've got Viral Boom. Nice. Love that channel name. The type of channel is to make, or the type of channel is funny, happy, make you laugh. The goal of the channel is to make people laugh, forget life for a minute, and grow on YouTube. The question is, not having a teaching channel, just having a funny channel, how can I make those shorts more clickable? Since shorts don't usually have thumbnails, thank you. So really, When it comes to shorts, you want to think from the title perspective of like how to make this clickable. Of course, if you can select the screenshot, because you can do that now on mobile devices. So if you can select the screenshot and you're doing something funny, if there's something funny happening, then or something like extreme happening or whatever, doing the thumbnail or selecting the thumbnail like right before that thing actually happens, so they need to click it to see that thing happen. So it kind of creates that gap, right, to where it's like, okay, well, hey, this is something that looks like it's going to happen, and I just need to click in here because I really want to see, I really want to see it. So do that. If you're making that type of content to where you would see that. But if not, then you're going to have to just leverage the title. And when it comes to the title, then in that case, it's like, again, I'm not sure if you are like telling jokes yourself or if you are making, specific content for it or whatever. But if you are, with your title, what you want to think about is okay, if somebody were to see this like in their mobile feed, then what about this title is going to actually pull them into the content? You can do things like if they're, I'm trying to think of something that would be funny. I'm not a funny person. So like, let's see here. What would be funny? So if your title was something like, I can't believe her dad said this, right? And that leads them into like a comedy thing, if that would even apply to what it is that you're doing, then in that particular case, by, her dad said, this, and then there's like some crazy, screenshot or whatever, her dad, I can't believe her dad did this or whatever. Then what that does is that creates that curiosity gap with your title as well as the image that you're using in your thumbnail, which then will cause more people to click on it. But keep in mind, when it comes to shorts, most of your activity is going to come from people just going like this. So because of that, make sure that you're thinking more about what happens when my videos first start than you are thinking about, like pulling them in from like home pages and stuff. But you still want to do that, but just make sure that you're working harder on the hook, because that's where most of your traffic is going to come from on the shorts. Let's see here. So Daniel says something very funny about Nick saying rinse and repeat. I think he's a single rinse kind of guy. I kind of am. I think you are like a rinse and repeat. So quick story. So we were, I think it was at like VidCon or, I can't remember the conference. Maybe it was ClamorCon maybe. But basically we were at a conference. TubeBuddy got a house. This is back in the days of, like pre-COVID. And in that house, Daniel and I ended up sharing a shower, not together, but, he showered first, before I did. And because of his hair, it was an interesting experience. I'll just leave it at that. Interesting experience. Yeah. My girlfriend has long hair too, but it doesn't do to a shower like what Daniel's hair does to a shower. It was everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Okay. So, let's hear. So next up we've got, no, we did Viral Boom already. So next up, we have Bright Photoshop tutorials. They do bi-weekly content. The type of channel, it's a graphic design channel. I do Photoshop tutorials. The goal of the channel is I'm doing this to help people who are interested in graphic design and want to make it a career. Super cool. The question is, I've been wondering, can a faceless channel make it big on YouTube? Absolutely. A faceless channel can make it big on YouTube. So, when it comes to showing your face or not showing your face, people do respond to, personalities and whatnot, on YouTube, which is, if you are, like yourself, if you're interfacing with a YouTube video that doesn't like show a person and it's all just like, the stuff, you'll still enjoy those and you'll still get value out of those, but you might not connect to them as much as you might when you have a person there, right? Because with a person, you can also, relate to their personality and you can kind of get to know the nuance of that person. Some of it you can also do through, through voice as well, to where people can connect through you and your personality through the voice, which is fine. But when it comes to a faceless channel, you can absolutely do awesome when it comes to, a faceless YouTube channel. So, a great example of this is You Suck at Cooking, right? So in their case, they don't show their face on video. I think they have another one, You Suck at Photoshop. I think that's the old OG original version. But basically with those, you never see the person on camera, but you see like their hands and you see, what it is that they're, doing with the actual, things that they're preparing. And, people just love that content. Same exact thing goes for like, animation channels, a lot of tutorial channels, gaming channels, you know, things like that. There's tons of content on YouTube that does not have a face or a camera, you know, pointed at somebody for the content. That does great. So yeah, you're fine. Just make sure that you are, you know, teaching people the best that you possibly can, that you're not wasting their time with the tutorials that you're putting together, that you're really paying close attention to your audience retention reports, and that you're looking for places where you're wasting people's time. Because as a content creator, you know, it's just easy for us to sit there and get talky about something or whatever, to where, you know, that might not necessarily be what the viewer comes into the video for. So just make sure that you are really studying your audience retention reports, and that's going to help you learn how to make the best possible tutorials for the people that are interacting with your content. Let's see here. CZ English says, thank you for the super chat, says, are shorts paid less than normal videos? Not just because they are shorter. Yes, they are paid less than normal videos right now. At this point in time, people are, you know, reporting, you know, a lot of, you know, really low payments when it comes to YouTube shorts. But keep in mind, I mean, you know, it's ads that are showing in between, you know, little, you know, 60-second or less clips. So you can't really expect tons, you know, from it anyway. But one thing that I can tell you is that it seems like people are making more on YouTube shorts compared to TikTok. But you know, I'm sure it's content dependent and all of that, but the idea is, like, if you're just going to go into YouTube shorts and you're looking at that as like your only monetization option, you make sure that you're making something that is like general audience, or that would be, you know, the most appropriate for a large amount of people to enjoy. Because if you're in there and you're doing it like on a niche basis for something that's kind of, you know, that doesn't have like a huge market for it, then in that case, you know, you're going to need to get like lots and lots of views in order to make that lucrative. If you're like, hey, I just want to add, you know, a little bit to the bottom line here and there, then yeah, you can do that with, you know, anything. But if you're like, I want to make like real money with this, then you're going to need to get a lot of views on YouTube Shorts. Currently, how it currently sits, you're going to need to get a lot of views on YouTube Shorts in order for that to really pay off. Jackie Bai, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. So next up on our list here, we've got Architectural Sheet Metal 101. They do sheet metal how-to content. The goal of the channel is to help educate people about sheet metal. And the question is, you think it's possible to monetize through sponsorship / brand deals and affiliate only, and give away the training for free? Totally. Yeah, so when it comes to like the way that you choose to monetize your channel, you can do it in a bunch of different ways. So for me, as an example, I kind of do what you're talking about. So, you know, I'm the only YouTube help channel that I'm aware of. Actually, I don't know. Well, he's not a dedicated YouTube help channel, but I don't think Daniel has a course either. But, you know, in terms of like, you know, dedicated help channel, I'm one of the few that doesn't have a course to sell. That doesn't mean that there's not one coming, but it just means at this point in time that for the last 8 years that I've just been giving away free content. And the way that, you know, that I make the most money from what it is that I do is from affiliate marketing, bringing attention to my own products as well, and through sponsorships also. So yeah, you can absolutely do that. Other things that you can do as well when it comes to the affiliate and sponsorship side is if you are doing training, like you're putting together like actual courses and things like that, you can also integrate some of those affiliate offers and, you know, sponsorship, you know, awareness and things like that through the courses that you're putting out. You know, in terms of like, okay, so here we are, you know, in this particular thing, you know, I'm showing you, like in your case, right? I'm showing you how to put this roof on. For this, I usually use these particular things, and the reason that I use these particular things is this. I've got links to those, you know, in the you know, description of this, you know, video or whatever, so you can, you know, check those out, you know, if you want to, you know, get one of these yourself or whatever. So you can absolutely do that kind of thing. I actually have a friend of mine, and I'm not going to put him on blast because I don't want people going to like research him or whatever. But I have a friend of mine too, actually, that that they do that so well that it's more important for them to drive people into an email that will ultimately lead people into their courses, because they make staggering amounts of money from the affiliate revenue. They make money from the courses too, but they make a staggering amount of money from the affiliate revenue that's generated from people going through their courses. So, you know, that model that you're looking at, you can definitely do that, but just make sure that that volume is there, because of course, because to make the most off of, you know, the affiliates, you need volume, because, you know, they have to convert through you, and then they have to convert again through the thing that you're actually, you know, bringing attention to. And depending on the affiliate stuff that you're offering, like if you're sending people to Amazon, you're going to need a substantially larger amount of traffic than if you're sending people into like a subscription service of some kind, in order to, you know, to make the same money. So just make sure that you're, you know, keeping all of those things in mind. But you're a channel member, like, you know, like you're, you know, we're around each other. So, you know, you can ask me any details on that you want, or we can go a little bit deeper on that. Just make the post in the membership group in Facebook, and we'll, you know, we can go deeper on that. Let's see here. So next up, let's see. What did he say here? So Daniel says, oh no, that wasn't it. I thought he said something in here about a course that was coming maybe as well. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, maybe not. I thought I saw one in here, saying that he had a course, but maybe, or that it was coming. Oh, I don't have a course either, but I've been working on one. I prefer giving away most of my daily advice for free, like Nick. Yep. Yeah, it's like it's just it's just a good way to do it. But Daniel and I both, you know, we have mutual friends, and you know, just people that we know as well that, you know, that just make substantial amounts of money from courses. But, you know, like when it comes to that, it's also like a whole other thing. And it also causes people to look at you in a different way. So, you know, like there's a lot of people that will watch some other, you know, channels. And again, I'm not, you know, putting anybody on blast here, because, you know, this is, you know, just how people make a living. So, you know, some people that don't understand how things work, they'll look at channels that are continually trying to drive people into their courses. They'll look at them like, oh, I can't listen to them or take anything, you know, that they're saying at face value, because there's this motive behind them to drive people into their courses, right? And they'll take that perspective. I've actually had people say to me that they can't watch certain channels because they always feel like they're being sold something, right? So like because of that, it's like, you know, like when you do those types of things, it can also cause people to perceive you in a certain way. But with that said, if you're doing this for business and all of that, it doesn't matter. Right? If people perceive you in that way, then it's fine for the people that perceive you that way, because they probably weren't going to get the course anyway. And then you have, you know, the people that will get the course, to where, you know, those types of things aren't things that they think about, or they're just not things that bother them in any way. So, you know, it just depends on the path that you choose to take, and, you know, the perception that you want people to have of you, because, you know, those little nuanced things are, you know, are part of your, you know, brand as well. And with that said, you know, different things also attract different types of viewers as well. So, you know, there's all types of, you know, stuff wrapped into, you know, that side of things. But the model that you're considering, it can be effective, but just make sure that you're, you know, thinking of all the, you know, possibilities for it. Next up, we've got Armored Annie. Armored Annie does daily content. They do gaming content. The goal of the channel is to share my hobby and build a community. The question is it worth persisting with shorts for a gaming channel? Is it about hoping for that one clip that goes viral and grabs attention and gets you exposure? No, it's actually not that. That's in my opinion, that's never the goal. Unless the content that you're putting out, unless you can follow it up with more content that's going to do the same exact thing, the goal is consistency. Like in terms of like, okay, I'm averaging these view counts and I'm growing these view counts over time, right? That's the thing. So with YouTube Shorts, you can absolutely do, you can absolutely do that. You can also, you can have, you know, viral, you know, success from, you know, shorts as well. That can drive a lot of attention to your YouTube channel. However, you know, like those things are cool, but they're better if you can follow them up with more content like that. But if you can't, then those viral hits that happen, then you can end up in situations like the fitness channel that we had up here. It was like the third or fourth question, where they're like, hey, I had this one video do like great, and then like everything else is just like, you know, just sucks in comparison. So, you know, because of that, it can also do those types of things as well, to where you have that one and you're like, oh, and it drives you crazy. Like, why can't I do that again? But, you know, like me, like, you know, I can't remember. There's a phrase, or it's a joke. You know what? That joke, now that I'm running it through my brain, isn't appropriate, so I'm not even going to say it. But it's basically something about like, we're not even going to go there. It's not appropriate. Yeah, because the context isn't appropriate, so we're not going to say it. Okay, so next up, we've got We're on question number 21, by the way, cruising through these nicely. JCTV Pro, they do daily content. They do food reviews. The goal of the channel is to make people happy. And the question is, February is a good month for me. March, not so good. Now we're in April. How come my view count is going downhill? Comments going downhill, shares, people subscribing. So it could be that you've changed something. It could be the seasonality in the content. It could be that the viewers that are currently watching your content, that they have, gained interests in something else like at scale. It could be that you have more people coming into making your type of content, more people just making content on YouTube in general. Like, one thing that everybody here should understand very deeply is that when you have a good month or you have a good few months, that does not guarantee that those months are going to continue going in that direction forever, right? So everything has, a cycle. Everything has, a lifespan. All the videos that you put out, some of them will drive views for years to come. Some of them will drive views for the next month and then fall off, depending on, how good you get at, making videos. But the idea is that, when you have like a few good months, and then things start tapering off, what you need to do is you need to start evaluating what's happening. So, are people not responding because you're just kind of rehashing the same stuff? Are people not responding because the way that you've changed your, title and thumbnails to where, they just don't respond to them like they used to? Have you done something different in the video content? Maybe you're doing things now that you think have made you better. And this happens too. Maybe you're doing things now that you think are making you better, that have made you better, and what people actually respond to is the way that you used to do it before, right? You have things like that too. So because of that, you need to, just kind of evaluate what is happening and see if you can identify anything like that. But also know that, when it comes to YouTube, there is a seasonality to it in terms of, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Even Mr. Beast, if you go and look at his channel, of course, it happens with much larger, numbers on his channel. But, even him, he's like this, all the time, just up and down, up and down, up and down. So like when it comes to, this, that just consistent, rock solid, no matter what, it's hitting this. You can raise your baseline, so to speak, as your content quality increases and your consistency falls into place and, all that good stuff. But when it comes to, having like a good month and then things kind of tapering down from there, I would study what was happening in that month. I would also look for, trends around the type of content that you make that could have been hotter in that month. I would look at the actual performance of the videos themselves. I would look at how you were presenting the content, not just on camera, but like how you're putting everything together. I would look at that. I would look at how you were trying to get people into additional videos. I would look at everything with the content that was performing before that's not performing now. I would also start experimenting, because if you had that good month and then you're tapering off from there, that means you're probably still living on those videos, and then that is just slowly, kind of tapering down from there. So because of that, another thing that you need to do is start just experimenting and thinking like, okay, if I'm doing these food reviews, what can I do that would be, a little bit different than what I normally do, but it would kind of be something that would kind of freshen up my channel a little bit. But it would still be in alignment with, the content that I put out and with the people I'm trying to reach with my content, but it would be something, a little bit new, or maybe a different type of value, or that I'm just doing it in a little bit of a different way than I was doing it before, and see if that ends up, causing people to respond better. Gazarim, thank you. Gaza Rhyme. There we go. Thank you for the compliment on the studio. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a pretty cool working space. Like, I can come in here and just like forget about time. Like I literally have like the window blocked. There, like when we bought this place, there was a window right here, and I just had them put concrete on it. Like I'm like, okay, fill that window in, because I want to be able to control the light in here and like all of that. So yeah, like I can come in here and just like forget about time. It's fantastic. Let's see here. Next up, we've got that Goth Farmer. They upload every other day. The type of channel is teaching homesteading skills. The goal of the channel is to provide relatable education to those who want to be self-sufficient and take hold of their food security. And the question is, I'm planning to start a series for making bread. Filmed my first 2 videos yesterday. How many videos / weeks in a row should I post this series? I have 20 video ideas, and I want to make sure that if a new viewer finds me through my bread series, they have enough videos to be interested in staying around for more. But on the other hand, I don't want my viewers to think that I'm entirely shifting focus to bread, right? So I would put up like maybe a couple of those, see how they do, drop in something else, put in another bread video, drop in something else, put in another bread video. And also, like when you're putting out those bread videos, make sure it's what people want to know. right? So so maybe you could put out, you know, if you put out 2 bread videos and if they perform well, then in that case, you're like, hey, let me, you know, put something else in here that, you know, maybe the people that are making bread, it would make sense for them to watch the video on how to make this other thing. But then after, you know, I make some of those, that I'm also going to show, you know, some different stuff about bread as well, so you can flush out some of those video ideas. But first, just make sure people respond to the ones that you do put out when you start the series, to make sure that, you know, you should continue the series. When it comes to series on your channel, I don't recommend that you batch it. Like, I wouldn't make all 20 videos right now. Instead, I would, you know, just get like the first like maybe 2 or 3 made, put them out, see how people respond to it, see what you can learn from those videos that you can apply to the next ones that you put together. Let's see here. So 86th, 86th says, I'm a chef and listen to your stuff all the time while prepping and trimming beef. Maybe you have a new niche to break into. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, just audio, right? I actually have these now, Nimmin Live, I actually have these now selected as podcasts. So I'm putting these into a podcast playlist now, because these are things that, you know, just based on feedback that I've gotten, that people often listen to in the background. So because of that, I have it in podcasts so that you guys will be able to grab these out of like, you know, YouTube Music and stuff like that as well. And we also upload them into a podcast distribution service so that you can also find them on like Apple Music and, you know, all the other places that you listen to podcasts. Let's see here. So next up, we've got Grizzly Gaz. Grizzly Gaz does wild camping and backpacking content. The goal of the channel is to get views with an exclamation point, like they're wanting views. The question is, can you please audit my most recent video? It's only 6 minutes long. No, I cannot. I don't do that during these streams. I only look at YouTube videos during our member streams for the channel members, and I only look at channels during those streams and on the channel review streams that I do on the Tube Spanner channel. But my brother D and Daniel Batal, they are going to be doing channel reviews on the StreamYard channel after this stream. So you might want to hop over there and, you know, possibly get some feedback over there. Coastal Diva says that they've been on YouTube for less than a year. The type of channel is coastal decor shopping and simple item revamps. The goal of the channel is side income in the future. Says that they love coastal decor. The question, currently I get 0 interaction on my community post. How can I best draw responses? I'm stumped. So first, hold on, let me go look at your channel real quick. So first, start using like polls and stuff first. Because people, you know, typically respond to polls pretty easily. Just ask them questions based around, you know, the type of content that you're making. Yeah, like here, most of the stuff that you're doing is just kind of broadcasting out without asking for any feedback. So like you have pictures, you have like, you know, just text posts and stuff like that, but you're not doing any polls. So the first thing I would do is start doing some polls. Next thing is start asking questions. So like here you have, hey Coastal, new video out tomorrow. Coastal decor items we need in our lives. Can't wait to show you, right? So what you're doing there with that post is you're broadcasting out. You're not, you know, that's not something that even requires or even prompts people to interact with it. But if you make a post that says something like, let's see here, I'm trying to get a clue, like a better idea of what it is that you're doing here. So since you're doing coastal stuff, let's see here. Okay, so maybe like a poll would be something like, you know, would you use coastal rocks or starfish more for decoration? And then the actual thing is like starfish is one option, and then like, you know, rocks is another option, and then the third option is other, answer in the comments. And then by doing that, the people that see those, you'll get some people that give you feedback. Also, I would ask it around your content specifically because you're not getting any engagement right now at all. But as you go and as you progress through this, you can start asking general questions too. Like, you know, for example, do you typically watch YouTube videos before you go to bed, or usually, you know, when you first wake up? Do you usually watch YouTube videos in the afternoon or in the evening when you're, you know, kind of winding down for the night? And you start asking a bunch of questions like that. And by asking those questions, then, you know, people will engage. But here's the thing. So when it comes to people engaging in your community posts and all of that, you also got to think about like, yeah, I want the engagement, but I also like don't just want to put stuff out there for the sake of, you know, like having some general person that might not even watch my content, like engage with this. So that's why I said before that, you know, I would try to frame the questions around what it is that you're doing so that the people interacting will at least be like, oh, this is something that I'm interested in. For the people that do engage, oh, this is something that, you know, is of interest of some kind to me. And then they engage with that, right? So then you're at least getting, you know, the people that could possibly click on your channel name and go watch your channel. You know, you're getting those types of people to engage versus just asking very general questions that like anybody could engage with, but they might not necessarily care about the channel. Like you would still get the engagement, but ultimately what you want is even if it's less engagement, you want engagement from people that would actually be interested in watching your content. So because of that, I would definitely make sure that you are, you know, kind of wrapping the questions that you do ask around that. And don't always make it about, you can make some about some of the questions that you ask. You can make it about your content specifically. Like, you know, what other, you know, coastal items would you like to see me decorate? And then you can put, you know, either questions or you can say, you know, let me know in the comments. You know, those types of things, when you ask those questions, they typically, you know, will generate more engagement. Next on our list here, we're on number 25 now, cruising through these. So we've got X Diamond Music. They have a music channel. The goal is to be able to live from music. The question is, hey, Nick, what guarantees do I have that I will not receive a claim if I use any instrument from the YouTube audio library with a Creative Commons license? You don't. No guarantees. No guarantees. So when it comes to like, you know, their audio library from their creator music, from any music, even here's the thing with YouTube's system currently, even if you were to make an original song and upload it to YouTube, the way that things currently stand, it's possible that some shady company could even claim your own music that you made yourself and you uploaded to YouTube. And that they could actually, you know, claim it and say that they had it in some way. It's also possible that their system could identify it as, instead of it being your original song, it could match it against some melody that somebody else has created at some point in time. And it could actually claim that it is that song, or the system could, you know, like it would seem to it like it was that song, and then you could get a claim, and that claim would say that song is that song, right? So, you know, when it comes to music on YouTube right now, it's not the most, you know, it's not the best system in the world. We'll say it that way. It's pretty, you know, broken, and there's some issues with it. They're, you know, working on that stuff, but as of right now, there are no guarantees. If you're using something out of the YouTube audio library, that you're not going to get some type of claim from somewhere. But if you're using it out of the YouTube audio library and you're using it in the way that they recommend that you use it, like for example, if it is something that they do want you to give attribution on, if you give that attribution and you're just playing by the rules, then you have a defense. So then if you get a claim, you can dispute that claim. But if you are using it and you're not abiding by their rules, then in that particular case, when you get that claim, it could be warranted. So because of that, you just want to make sure that if you are going to use music in any capacity, even if you use Creator Mix, which is our free music service, little plug right there. But even if you use Creator Mix, which is our free music service, you still want to make sure that you go down to the footer of our website and that you grab the license, because that enables you to where, in the event that you did get some like shady claim or something like that from some company that, you know, that doesn't own the rights, because we do, even if you get that, or if YouTube misidentifies that track as something else, then you can dispute it because you actually have the permission to use that song from us, right? So the same exact thing applies to YouTube's audio library. If you use their content, you got to make sure that you get those things so that in the event that something like that happens, you're okay. Another thing just to remember is that if you are repurposing your videos, like let's say that you have the video that you're making for YouTube, but then you download it and you upload the shorts over to like TikTok or Instagram Reels or something like that, or you just, you know, download it and just upload it right over to Instagram or TikTok or something. YouTube's music is to be used on YouTube, not on Instagram, not on TikTok, right? So you just have to make sure that you're also, you know, only using it in music that you only put on YouTube. Next. Yeah, like right here, Para Women Radio says, I get claims on my Canva Pro account music all the time. It drives them crazy, right? So yeah, it's just those little things like that, right? So, you know, like, right now, just because of the state of, their system, because it's not, it's not a perfect system. So because of that, there's always a risk. So you just have to make sure that you're using music that you can dispute in the event that you get a claim. And when it comes to, situations like, Para Women Radio here, it basically becomes part of your workflow, to where it's like, okay, here's another claim. Now I got to sit down and spend the time to like deal with this. So then, it can add, minutes, depending on how much you publish, it can add hours, to your week of just sitting there disputing, claims that you get. So, so you just want to make sure that you're, kind of walking the right path there. So Benjamin Blackburn is our next question here. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. They do gaming content. The goal of the channel is for fun. Says, hey, Nick, I make VR content on games like Beat Saber and Rec Room. Is it a bad idea to also upload video on demands from Twitch streams where I play those games? For example, editing down the stream where I spent 24 hours in Rec Room. Oh, nice. Or maybe edit down other streams where I do different challenges, or is it better to make different content for YouTube only? If you can get a high quality video from, that you download from, the other sites, then by all means, if you can edit it together and just kind of make it a nice piece of original content for YouTube based on the original full length recording, absolutely, you can put that on YouTube, without question. So if you have it to where it's not really good quality because you uploaded it to Twitch, so you have the compression that happens there, and then you download it, and then you put it in your editing software and you do whatever there, and then you export it, maybe you have some quality loss there. By the time it gets up onto YouTube, it's kind of, not that great. Then in that case, that's where you'd want to make something original. Moving Company Hustle, what's up? Hope you're doing awesome. Car Snob Media, hope you're doing great. Let's see here. So next up, we got Teelan's Visual. Teelan's Visual does educational content. The goal of the channel is to get more views. And the question is, how can I improve my personality on camera to make my videos more interesting while teaching my audience? So when it comes to improving your personality on camera, the thing that I recommend that you lean into the most is your own personality and just amplifying your own personality. So, you have nuances about you that separate you and make you different from everybody else that's on the planet. So, you want to, just give that version of yourself to the people that are interacting with your content. And I know that that's like, okay, well, how do I identify that? It's the same you. It's the same version of yourself that you use when you're hanging out with like your really good friends. It's that version. And it's not the version that's like you and your friend hanging out on the sofa, like, watching, like TV. It's the you and your friend, you're out having, dinner, or you're out, watching a game somewhere, you're out doing something like that. Both of you are like, a little bit excited, whatever, like that whole thing. And you're just like, having a good time hanging out with your buddy. Like that's what you want to bring to YouTube. There's the other side of that too. If you're just a chill person, then, just leaning into that and being that chill person on YouTube to where you're just, that chill, totally chill version of yourself. If you're going to do that, make sure that you get really good audio, and make sure that you work on like, processing your voice and all that, because those types of channels can also be really awesome, but you want to make sure your audio is really good there. But when it comes to your personality though, just lean into who you are. And I know that that's like a really weird concept, because a lot of people might think that when it comes to YouTube that you have to like act because you're on video. But really the best thing you can do is just be yourself, because when you're being yourself, then you're going to connect to, other people that would like you in the real world as well. And you get to just be yourself, and you don't have to like put up this like act all the time. Now, there are some people that have character channels. So I have a friend of mine here in Thailand. Their channel is called Chicky Pie. And basically her entire channel is a character channel. So basically she'll go in and she'll put on like a wig, and she puts on these like big glasses, and she puts on these like crazy outfits. And like when she is pre that, then she'll be like, okay, I got to go put my, character on, and everything changes. Like she's like this person here, and, just normal, and, just like calm and chill and nice and like all that. And then she like walks away, and then she comes out this like just over the top, super like, loud and obnoxious and animated and like all of that. Like it's a different person that she comes out as, but she maintains that until she takes off her wig and takes off all the stuff. Like that's, like it's like game time when she puts all that on. So, there's that also. So if you're going to go on like the personality side and you're like, hey, I'm just going to be myself, then in that case, just lean into that friend version of you. If you are, doing like a character channel, then in that case, just be that character. Let's see here. Next up on the list. is Home Rapid Repair. Home Rapid Repair does home improvement videos. The goal of the channel is to be an authority in home improvement and affiliate links in the future. Question: thinking about starting weekly live streaming soon to answer home improvement questions from viewers. What is the benefit of live streaming? Watch time for a new channel like me, or grows the overall audience for the channel? All the above. So one, you get ad revenue, just like you do video content when they come in. Two, you also get the watch time. Three, you'll get the views of that content because that's extra content you're putting on your channel, right? So you'll get the views and just overall activity from that. Next, it also gives you the opportunity to add tons of value to people because you're answering their questions like I'm doing right here with yours. So what that does is it's like, hey, this is cool. They answered my question. And that, you know, for the people that are going to be watching your videos, for them, it's like, oh, sweet. This is so cool. I had no idea like how to do that thing. And they just broke it all down for me. Now I can go do the thing. So people can receive like massive value from your stream. And from that, people will, you know, like engage more with what it is that you're doing as well. But basically when it comes to live streams, other benefits are that you can, if you have people interacting with your live stream, you can accumulate a substantial amount of watch time relatively quickly with live streams. Also, when it comes to live streams, it can also help you really understand, especially if you're doing Q&As. It can really help you understand the real things that people that you're trying to help are dealing with. Because, you know, when you're looking at everything from like the outside, it's like, okay, well, you know, these are the things that I think people are dealing with. These are the problems that I think people need help with. But when you are in a live stream and people are asking you direct questions, over time, you start to notice patterns. And it's like, wow, a lot of people are having trouble with this. So since a lot of people are having trouble with this, maybe I should make a video about it. Or during this period of time right now, for the last like month, there's been so many people asking about this particular thing or these particular things. So at this moment in time, this is really important. So maybe I should make a video about that, right? So it just kind of helps you like really, you know, kind of dig into the nitty gritty, so to speak, of what your audience, you know, like really, you know, seeks from you. And that, you know, the information that they really want to know. Next up. Oh, another thing too, because one of the things that you mentioned is like, you know, also doing affiliate things down the road. So in your case specifically, I don't know if you're going to be sitting there since you're doing home repair stuff. I don't know if you're going to be sitting there like I am and just answering questions like this. But if you're in your shop and you're like, you know, let's say you have, you know, a camera and that camera is like tethered, you know, to your computer or to some streaming device or whatever. And you have somebody in your shop that's just kind of like helping you and they're walking around, keeping you on camera. You have a lavalier mic and you're just mic'd up there and you can show people things. Then in that particular case, one thing you can also do is you can go ahead and start on the affiliate side. So basically with your live streams, you could do the Q&A and then you could be in your shop or your garage or whatever. And you could be showing people like, okay, here, let me show you how to do that. And then you have that person that's there with you, or you can set it all up to where you have different cameras around your garage and stuff, but you take them over to your workbench. You have the overhead shot come up and you're like, you know, okay, this is how you do this. I'm going to put this together. We got to put this here. We got to put this here. And, you know, for this, I use this. And I've got, you know, a link down in the description that takes you to my store or that takes you to my website where I have all of these products that I use listed. So you can find it over there. But anyway, you know, I use this and I put this on and I do this and I use this little spatula thing to kind of smooth it all out, you know, whatever. But the idea is you can also use it as a way to, you know, to go on the, you know, to you know, promote things as an affiliate too. Angie's Wigs and Beauty is our next question. They do how-to and style content. The goal of the channel is I want to quit my job. And the question is, how do I make a channel banner? So when it comes to a channel banner on YouTube, you can do this in Photoshop. You can do it in Canva. In fact, I'm not sure, is Creator Classroom in here? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, there's a channel here that hangs out in these streams on a regular basis. I don't see her right now after doing a bunch of scrolls, so she might not be here this weekend. But usually she's here. But she has a channel called the Creator Classroom, and she actually teaches people how to use Canva for YouTube. So you might want to go check out her channel because she has videos on her channel about how to do that. But another thing that you can do is if you go to canva.com, they'll have a channel template like thing there. So you can just go in there and put it together right there inside of Canva. But before you do, I recommend that you hop on Google and you look for YouTube channel banner template, and you're going to end up coming out with you're going to see all these images. Make sure you go to the image search for there. You're going to see one that's a very large image. It's like 2,000 pixels by something. Download that. Drop it into Canva, just in case they don't have guides, because I'm not sure if they do, but drop it into Canva. And then from there, just kind of lower the opacity on it. And the reason that you want to do that is because it's going to have lines that are going to show you, like on a mobile device, people are going to see this. On a computer, they're going to see this. On a TV, they're going to see this. And it just kind of helps you be able to put all of your graphics in the right place to make sure that people are seeing the right things based on the device that they are viewing it from. Let's see here. So next up on the list here, we've got Becky B Plays. Becky B Plays uploads one time per week or more. They do gaming content. The goal of the channel is to make a career out of something that they love doing. The question is, I'm doing okay at making videos, but I don't know how to ask questions with my audience in a natural way. How can I connect with my audience during the flow of the video? So when it comes to connecting with your audience, like while you're making the content, this is another one to where, your personality is going to do that job for you. So there's something that I recommend that you look into called parasocial interaction or parasocial relationships. What that is it's basically the concept of like one-sided relationships, right? So you're going to have, some viewers of yours that you're going to get to know, some viewers that you're going to get to know like sort of, and then you're going to have some people that you're going to not know in any way, shape, or form, but they're going to be interacting with your content. So all of those people, regardless of where they're at in terms of you knowing them, all of those people are going to be interacting with your content. They're going to be getting to know and like you through the content that you're publishing. And that's all going to happen naturally through just your personality. So in terms of getting them to like interact with you, that's different. So, ways that you can get them to interact with you is by, asking specific questions and stuff like that. But when it comes to connecting people to you, other things that you can do is you can be very transparent about like your beliefs and things. So like you can be very specific about, certain things that you stand for or don't stand for, certain ways that you think things should be done. So like as an example, you do gaming content. So if there's a certain type of game that you play, like let's say that you play like battle royale type, games, but you hate race car games, right? Then what you can do is you can make that very clear in some of your content. Like you can be like, yeah, hey, I had a rough time with this game today, but hey, at least it's not a racing game because I hate racing games, right? And by doing that, what you do over time is you slowly connect with people that also hate racing games because they're like, I was watching this video and this person like mentioned that they hate racing games. I hate racing games too. Like I'm subscribing here. Like I'm one of the few people that hate racing games, right? So like when you come up with all these little, nuanced things like that, those things can also help people connect with you. That's why, like if you look at channels that are extremely polarizing, you'll see that their audiences are just crazy engaged with what it is that they're doing. And it's because they're all just kind of feeding each other, the same, stuff that they believe, or you have the opposing side that, believes in the other way. And then they come in just for the sake of arguing with the content creator. So like, when you have very strong ideas and opinions, that can be, really helpful for, people, connecting with you in a natural way. Let's see here. As a matter of fact, there's a book called Primal Branding. I don't know if it still is, but at one time, this was a required reading for partner managers, I believe it was at YouTube. But it's called Primal Branding, and it's a really, really good book. But basically, Patrick Hanlon, I think, is the author of that. And basically the whole thing is where he studied companies that have like crazy cult like followings like Apple and, companies like that. And he kind of breaks down these 7 core principles that all of these companies have that cause people to, connect to them in deeper ways. So I really recommend that you check out that book. It's really informative in terms of like little nuanced things like that, in terms of drawing that line in the sand of basically defining to your audience the type of person you are, or in that case, the type of company you are, right? Like in order to be for something, in a lot of cases, you're also anti something. So, being clear that you're, about the things that you're anti and about the things that you're for, those are things that, people connect with and, and can get to know and like you from. Let's see here. So next up, we've got the Beauty Food Chick. They do beauty, food and beauty channel. The goal of the channel says, I'm a food and beauty enthusiast who loves to show people quick and easy ways to make healthy meals. I also aim to explain how eating healthy will help you wear less makeup, as well as give you tips on how to make sure your skin is healthy at all times. The question, I followed literally every tip that's been recommended, but my channel still isn't reaching much people, and I do not seem to see it reflected in my pay. What do I need to do because I'm getting exhausted? Keep going. Keep going. The reason that you need to keep going is because, you know, often when people think that they're doing all of the things, they typically are not. So I'm just going to look at something here really quick. Give me just a second. I'm just looking at your channel here really quick. Yeah, like for example, like the thing that I always talk about in terms of like, you know, keeping your thumbnails simple, you are definitely not doing that. In terms of, I'm just going to click on your video here really quick. Yeah, like right now you have this like intro going thing where like 5 seconds in, there's no like real information happening in the video. The whole thing's starting with like, you know, pictures. Yeah, so keep going. Like, you know, when it comes to getting people to respond to content, or really just making content that people, you know, respond to, you know, like it's important to use the information that YouTube is giving you. So like, for example, what I want you to do, the Beauty Food Chick, what I want you to do when you get a chance is go into your audience retention reports of your last video and look and see how people are responding to your video. Do that on all of your recent videos that you've published. Just go and look when somebody clicks, how are they reacting? I have this video here that's 7 minutes and 44 seconds, or this other video here that is 9 minutes and 22 seconds. How are people, once they click on my video, how are people reacting to it? The next thing I want you to do is I want you to go into your traffic sources report for each one of these videos and look at your click-through rate at the different traffic sources, basically home pages, YouTube search, suggested videos, and look to see how people, and make sure you're, you know, looking at the click-through rate compared to the impressions that you're getting, and look to see just how often that YouTube is showing your content to people that people are or are not clicking on it. If you look at those things, and then you also look to see like, okay, for the people that are interacting with my content, how many people am I getting all the way to the end? So from there, you're going to see this in your audience retention reports. So from there, what happens once they get to the end? Am I having a lot of people click on my end screens and actually go into my, you know, go into another video there? Or are people not clicking on any of my end screens? And if they're not, then what do I need to do in order to get people to click on more of my end screens, or for them to understand that they have more content behind this one click that they will also enjoy, right? So, you know, like there's like putting out content, and then there's like, you know, there's analyzing what's happening with that content that you put out. So another thing is right now, and I'm not going to pull this on screen because I don't, you know, I'm just not going to do that right now. But another thing is even some like general best practice stuff, like the structure of your title, as an example, like some of that's even messed up. So for example, you have for the title on your latest video, you have vlog : how I stay productive 98% of every day, + work, + making black soap, + mentoring. Right? So when it comes to like a title structure, first off, you don't need to put that it's a vlog in the title itself. Second off, if you were going to, that title, that little identifier that it's a vlog would be at the very end of the title, so that all the information that the viewer needs from that video would actually be visible on home pages and suggested videos and all of that, because it wouldn't be getting cut off. Second is you need to write like a normal title. Like what you're doing is you're writing like, you know, 4 different titles or 3 different titles within one title. And when you do that, it makes it hard to read. It makes it hard to just even like figure out what's going on. And it, more importantly, it makes it really easy to just kind of skip over, because it's just a bunch of stuff and it's not something that you can just quickly like land on and just read through in a natural way. So because of that, I recommend that you simplify all of the titles that you're putting out, and that you focus all of your titles around one cohesive idea. Same exact thing goes with your thumbnail. The next thing, you are talking about beauty content, you said, at least that's what the channel name suggests. You're talking about beauty content and food, but here, this vlog is about how you stay productive, right? So are you talking about food and hair, or are you talking about productivity, right? And here, let's see here, what else? So you have this other one. So this next one here, you're talking about, you know, beauty and food, but then this next title, which is Woo's Market, bar, Abuja, Nigeria, bar, shopping without cash, bar, heat in Abuja. So that's not a title, right? What you're doing is you're putting like a bunch of like words in there that, you know, that people, you know, I don't know if you're doing this because, you know, people might be looking for those phrases or whatever, because a lot of content creators will do that. They'll look for like all these different things that people are looking for. And then instead of just picking one and saying, okay, I'm going to try to optimize around this, they'll try to cram a bunch of stuff into their titles. So it's not that you're like, you know, messing up. It's just that, you know, it's a common, you know, mistake that YouTubers make. So like what you need to do with your titles is you need to just focus it on like one idea. Like this is what happened, right? In this video, or this is, you know, what it is that, you know, we want people to know about with this video. And then with your thumbnails, simplify those, because those are also, you know, kind of all over the place. Yeah, like there's just at a glance, like those are just two glaring things. Like when I look at the channel. So one thing that is really important, like when you're starting out with this, and we also have to be careful with this, like for the people that actually, you know, like study this stuff and work with other creators and all that, like one of the things that you also have to be really careful about is at any moment assuming that you know everything, right? So even though I sit here and I tell you guys like, hey, you got to make sure you do this, and this is how YouTube works, and like all of that, I'm also up for every single day. Like, I'm like, hey, if I notice something and it goes against like an idea that I already know in the past to be true, then in that case, like, okay, well, let's look at it, let's experiment, or let's analyze it or whatever. And if it's a new or if it's something that's new, then in that case, it's like, okay, well, it used to work this way. Looks like it might be working this one now. So let me reach out to some of my other YouTuber friends, see if they're having similar things and blah, blah, blah. And then, you come across new stuff. So when you say that like I'm doing all of the things, like never assume that you're doing all the things, because all of us, everybody on YouTube, it doesn't matter the channel, even the most successful channel on YouTube, everybody can be doing more. There's always something that every single one of us can improve. And then for most of us, like myself, like there's a lot of stuff that we can improve, right? So because of that, like when you think, and pardon this like rant here for everybody, but I just want to try to make this clear. Like when you assume that you're doing all of the right things, it puts a big wall in front of you that can limit the growth that you have, right? But when you're like, you know what? I'm not getting the response that I would like to get on these videos, which means that I need, like, there's more work that I have to do, right? But when you start getting that response, then it's like, okay, now I'm doing more of the right things, but I still might not be doing everything right that I need to do. So therefore I need to still be paying really close attention. I need to be trying to learn from the response that people are giving my videos, and still have to work on, trying to make things better. So hopefully that helped. Let's see here. So next up on the list here, we've got number 32 here. We've got Lil Jester. Lil Jester does variety videos and streaming. The goal of the channel is to entertain people and have fun while doing it. And the question is, how hard is it to grow an audience or find new viewers when you just started streaming? It can be challenging. And the reason that it can be challenging is because, when you ask somebody, or when you expect somebody to give you their time through a piece of video content, that content is like packaged up nicely, and all of that. You've made it the best that you possibly can. You've cut out the stuff that the viewers won't really enjoy, or you think would be a waste of time, or you think would make the video a bad video, and you've basically kind of condensed the video down into something that you're like, yeah, they'll really like this. But when it comes to live stream, it's something different. And the reason it's different is because you have the people that will come in and like be waiting for you to stream, and they'll be in. But in some cases, depending on where you're at with your channel, you might not have that yet. So then what will happen is, like my first stream, for example, on this channel is, you'll go live, and in some cases you might be sitting in there yourself, and you're just like by yourself streaming alone, but you're just like, hey, I'm still doing the content. It doesn't matter if somebody's here or not, because I'm making a piece of content here for the people that are going to watch it on the replay. No sweat. I'm still doing it, right? But basically, what's going to happen that's different is that you have people that are just jumping in like right in the middle of a stream. Like there's probably people that are in here right now that just joined that have no clue what's going on with this stream. They're like, what is this? Who is this guy? why is he here? Why are these people like listening to this dude? Like, you know, what's going on here with this channel, right? They come in and they have like hardly any context at all outside of what I put for the thumbnail and title, right? So, you know, you're going to have that same exact thing happen where people are going to come in like midstream and they're not going to have any idea what's going on. So it's just a different experience. So because of that, you want to make sure that you are scheduling your streams in advance. You want to make sure that you're using the trailer option so that you can give people context to what it is that they're going to get. Maybe give them a sample, you know, something like that. You want to make sure that, you know, that when you start your stream, if it's like your first live streams and you don't have any type of audience yet, you want to make sure that you are making your live streams for the sake of the replay, because yes, it'll be a cool live experience too as you build up that audience, but where you're going to end up getting most of your traffic when you first start in that case is probably going to be from people coming into your video after it's already finished and it's available as a video on demand on YouTube. So then when people come in there, you have to make sure that you're structuring your live stream in a way that makes it make sense for those people. And the way that you do that is by thinking of it from this lens. Okay, somebody's coming in on the replay. What's the first thing they're going to see in here? And how can I make that something compelling for them? So in your case, if you're doing like variety streaming, in that case, I don't really know what the content's going to be, but like if it was a game, then in that case, it would be like, okay, today I'm trying to get #1 in Battle Royale on Fortnite without using any weapons. Let's see how far we can get. And then you start playing. And then when you add that little bit of context at the beginning, because you know the replay viewers are going to be, you know, coming in on that, then what you're doing right there is you're giving them a reason to watch. So it's like, oh, hey, this person seems pretty confident. Let's see if they can do it or not. And then it just kind of gives them a reason to watch and just kind of, you know, play along because they want to see if you can actually accomplish that or not. So, you know, so when you design everything for the replay when you're first getting started, then it can give that content a little bit more life than you might get if it was just the live stream by itself. And really quick, oh, never mind, I answered that one already. Okay, so next up on our list here, we're on number 33. We got creative self-therapy. Creative self-therapy does art content. The goal of the channel is entertainment. And the question is, what is the best way to capture audience attention, give them, and keep them watching when making a live video and no one is watching? I just did that one. The timing on this question with them being back-to-back is great. So yeah, just do everything that I just said to for the last one. So we're on 34 now. Squared Phoenix Gaming says they do gaming content. The goal is to keep growing the channel until it's one of the best in terms of quality of content and numbers. The question is, hey, Nick, thanks for taking the time to look at my question. I've recently started getting some exposure and am now monetizing, growing daily. Congratulations. My current video length tends to be around 3-minute mark as I like my videos to be concise. I plan to more longer form content, but I'm currently increasing my skills so that I can expand into gaming reviews as well as tutorials while maintaining my current level of quality. My question is, what video length do you think is a sweet spot before you can realistically squeeze in a sponsored ad? I intend to have some decent length videos uploaded before approaching sponsors and also don't want to turn off the viewers with a 1-minute ad in the middle of a really short video. It's a really good question. So when it comes to sponsored content, in my opinion, I think that it is better on like longer content where you're actually doing like a sponsor plug, but it also depends on the plug. So I would try to not do 1-minute ads if you can, even for a sponsor. Like try to keep them like, 30 seconds if you can. And the reason for that is because, a minute on the internet, I mean, it's like a lifetime these days. So because of that, I mean, they could watch an entire short in the amount of time they watch that ad, right? So because of that, try to keep them, a little bit shorter than that if you can. But in terms of the video length, like if you're going to put it at the end, then in that case, you can still do it with like your 3-minute videos. Technically, you can do it with a 3-minute video anyway, but you got to make sure your hook is really good in order for people to like want to, get through that in order to watch the rest of the video. But the idea is, if you're doing 3 or 4-minute videos, you can still, put ads in those. That's fine. But I would just make them short ads. So instead of doing like a 60-second spot, I would go for like a 30-second spot or maybe even like a 15-second spot where you could just mention the thing really quick, let them know like any quick promotional thing about it, and then drive them down to the description to actually go, get the thing. 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 15 to 30 seconds if you're going to do a short video. And then if you're going to do a longer video, then in that case, keeping it somewhere around that 30-second mark is what I would try to shoot for. You can do longer ones, of course, but if you're keeping your videos short, then I would try to keep the ads short as well, just so that so that your regular viewers when they come in, they also feel like, okay, this content isn't made just to show me ads. This content is made for adding value to me, but they just put an ad in here, right? That's ultimately what you want. So because of that, keeping the ad short if the video is short, and still keeping the ad short anyway, but basically just shortening it based on, it being a relatively short video. Let's see here. So next up on our list, we got Speak English with this guy. They do teaching English to non-native learners. The goal of the channel is to make the most useful lessons as possible. And the question is, for the entire life of my channel, my views come from subscribers 71% of the time. Is this typical? How can I put my content in front of non-subscribers more often? So when subscribers are the primary people watching your videos, then it typically turns into like slower channel growth. When you have a majority of people that are non-subscribers watching your videos, that's where your channel is typically growing faster. The reason for that is because it's getting in front of more people that are not subscribed, right? So basically, when it comes to getting your content in front of non-subscribers, in that case, it has to perform really well for the people that are subscribers. But in addition to that, start thinking of like how broad you can get within your niche. So even with that, like non-subscribers would still interact with that content too. So maybe, making like some shorts, maybe making some content that's targeted towards YouTube search. So then that way you're actually pulling in new viewers into the content. But keep in mind, as you do that, you'll see them register as like a new viewer, so to speak, for some of that content. But then as soon as they subscribe, then it puts them right in the camp with everybody else. So, as long as you're pushing in front of new viewers just in general, which you are, 29% of the time, then you're good. But of course, if you want to get in front of more new people, then the best way that you can do that is by crafting your videos in a way to where they'll get a better response, so that YouTube has no other choice than to put them in front of a bigger audience than the people that are typically enjoying your content. And by, going into your audience retention reports, paying attention to how people are, clicking on your videos, paying attention to what happens at the end of your videos in terms of people clicking on, your end screens, all that good stuff. Paying attention to all those things and trying to improve that viewer experience there will help you get in front of more new people with your content. Let's see here. So next up, we've got Life's a Journey with Melissa Diane. They do cooking and kitchen content. The goal of the channel is to have an extra stream of income for the channel and affiliates in 7 years when I retire. Congratulations on your retirement here in 7 years. The question, thank you for your show. I'm making a 4-part video series. At the end of the video, I say pop over to this next video, popping up to see the next step in. And I'm guessing that's like a countdown. If I do that on each one, do I have to post all 4 at the same time? If I do not, then the audience sees the first video on the end screen. I could swear we answered this one last week. Maybe it was somebody else asking this question, but I could swear that we answered this last week. So it says, if I do one, do I have to post all 4 at the same time? If I do not, then the audience sees the first video on the end screen, but the second one. So here's what I suggest. So when you're putting a series together, one thing that you want to do is, of course, try to get them into the next video. But instead of saying the specific thing in the video, one thing that you can say is, I've made a series about this, or, I have more videos about, this thing that takes you deeper into it or shares the next steps or whatever. I'm making a playlist about that. You can click into that right here, and then having that playlist there, and then you can drive people into that playlist, and you can have other videos on the channel there if you wanted to, or technically you could even make a video, like if you wanted to go through this effort, you could make another video that you had unlisted on your channel that was at the top of that playlist that also had the video that they're watching in the playlist that would say, hey, right now I don't have that video available, but you can subscribe to the channel because it's going to be coming out next week or whatever. So just make sure you click on it there. You could do something like that. Last week, one of the things that was brought up, and I haven't looked into it yet to actually see this in action, but Renee Ritchie, who was in here earlier, he mentioned that in the YouTube editor that you can actually cut that part out, and then in the YouTube editor, once you upload your video, and then you can go in and you can undo that later once the next video is published, and then you would have that section in there. So basically at the end, instead of you having that very specific call to action to go to that next video, you would actually have that cut off, and then you would just have your end screen show up there at the end of the video, and then once that next video is published, you would go into that originating video, and then you would do that, and then you kind of rinse and repeat that as you go along through the other videos until that next one was published. But another thing that I want you to think about when it comes to this is, when you are publishing videos to YouTube, one of the things that YouTube recommends is that every video is accessible to people without them being required to watch another video. And basically each video that you publish on your channel should be able to stand on its own merit, meaning that the first video that they watch, and I understand your problem is that you're trying to, chain people through the videos and you're just trying to think of how, the logistics of that work. But when it comes to, publishing a video, you do want each video to stand on its own. So even if people are coming into like that second video because YouTube recommended it to them, make sure that with that second video that you don't start it with like, hey, this is video number 2 in this series and blah, blah, blah. Because when you do that, then it creates the idea that they need to watch another video to even be able to, for that one to make sense, right? So because of that, you want to make sure that like how you start each video in that series, it's just unique to that particular video, and it makes the person feel like, hey, this is the video that I'm coming in on, right? Instead of it being like, oh, okay, well now I got to watch like 3 more videos in order to catch up to this video that I'm watching right now. So every video should stand on its own merit there as well. So yeah, to kind of recap that though, using the editor to cut that part out and then undoing it and then putting it back in later. Also, just driving people into the playlist and letting them know, the next video in this playlist is going to be, the next part of this. So, subscribe for that. Or if you're watching this and it's already available, then you're going to see it, in this playlist. Okay, next up. We've got, let's see here. We've got Poop Scoop for Noobs. Poop Scoop for Noobs says they do a scooper business. Goal is to help others make a difference, one scoop at a time. And the question is, hey, Nick, I got my first sponsorship at around 700 subscribers. Nice work. What strategies do you recommend when integrating sponsor reads or brand mentions into your content while still respecting your audience and not affecting the performance of the video? So sponsor ads will most likely affect the performance of your video unless the integration is done in a really clever way. So a few different approaches. One, you can just throw it at them at the beginning and just kind of get it out of the way. A lot of people will just skip through them. Some people will watch it, but you'll just see a little dip there where people are skipping past it. Another way is to where you just save it until the end of the video, but just make sure that you have the disclaimer in the front. This video is brought to you by blah, blah, blah. More about them in the, later in the video. But basically you put it later in the video, and then that way they can get the content that they want. And then you put it in the later video. If you want to see something really clever, like a great way to do this is Ryan George. He does this in the best way that I've seen anybody do it on YouTube. So his ad spots are so funny because he's, his content is comedy, but his ad spots are so funny that you stick around to watch them just because they're hilarious. So he's made this thing. It's called the Adstronaut. I mean, right there, right? It's a winner. But he named it the Adstronaut, floating in ad space, right? So he's in this astronaut suit, but he's the Adstronaut. So he's floating in space, and then he shares the message about that, particular sponsor. But because it's so good, I sit there and watch it. I don't know if everybody else does, but for me, I'll sit there and watch it because it's hilarious. So I'm like, I'm like, I want to see what he says about this because it's going to be funny. So if you are, doing something like that, then you can put it in there. And over time, as people get to know that it's like, oh, this is a pretty good bit that they're doing right here, a lot of people will actually stick around for it. But if you're like, if you jump it in there first, like I do in a lot of my content when I do, sponsored videos, then in that case, you just have to expect that people are going to skip. But with that skip, it doesn't always negatively impact like the long-term performance of that video. So when it comes to the long-term performance of the video, as long as people are enjoying that content and the system detects that they're satisfied with that experience, like they'll keep showing it to people. So you don't have to think about it from the lens of like, okay, if I had this sponsored ad, then like everybody's going to leave the video. If you really thought that, then you probably shouldn't be doing the sponsored ad, right? Because then it's like, well, I won't even be able to add the value to this to the advertisers because everybody's going to leave the video, right? When I'm playing the ad. So you want to try to make the ads, as good as you can. And you want to, make sure that you're spreading those messages. But when it comes to, the recommendations of like where to put them and stuff like that, just trying to be creative with it. If you can, is usually the best bet. There's also the one to where you make the video, you make the sponsor like the hero of your story. So the way that works is it's like, okay, so in your case, because you're doing the scooper business, so it's like, hey, we're out here in the yard, we're trying to do this, and we've, ran into this problem, right? So then you pose this problem as part of your story. So ran into this problem, we're trying to do this thing. So let's look for solutions. So then you're like running all around, you're trying to figure out, the way to solve that problem, whatever. Ultimately, by the end of the video, it leads right into you finding that, product that, is sponsored. And then you bring that to everybody's attention, talk about how, it helps solve this very specific problem and so on. So, you have those types of things as well when it comes to, getting those messages across without it being, too much of a detached thing, from your audience. Let's see here. Okay, next up. Renee's like, hello, I'm the astronaut. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, Tube Spanner. Yeah, Danielle says Ryan George's ad spots are tight. Yeah, they are. I decided. Yeah, Ryan's ad spots are tight. I decided. Yeah, that's good. Love that I decided edition in there. So Ryan George right there. It's great. So yeah, we got another one right here too. Yeah, I watch the astronaut ads that he does too. So at least there's one other person that watches that part. I guess we're up to like 3 people now that watch that part. So in terms of it being, something that people stick around to, we at least have, 4 anecdotal experiences of people sticking around for, a really funny, and clever ad spot in ad space from an astronaut. So just to add more butter, says they do baking and cooking content. The goal of the channel is income. My question is about the comment section within YouTube Studio. More often than not, new comments go unnoticed if they're replies to old comments because there isn't an option in the filters tab to sort from the newest to oldest. Yes, there's a filter for replies, but even that isn't entirely helpful because it's bringing everything up. My question is there a way to see all new comments so I don't miss them? Maybe some extension that I'm missing. So when it comes to seeing your comments, I know YouTube at one point said that they're working on like comment threads and like things like that, like anyway. So, keep an eye out for that. But when it comes to going in there and seeing like the ones you haven't replied to, that's usually the best bet. Because it's unfortunate to have to go to like each individual video and find the ones that, haven't commented and stuff like that. I'm not sure. Danielle, does the Tube Spanner comment tool, if you're still in here, Danielle, is the Tube Spanner comment tool, does it show any type of like threaded stuff like that? Or is that something that you're going to be working on in the future? Because that's definitely something that, that you might want to put on that list, if not. Because that would be a cool thing, at least until YouTube does it. I don't know if it's worth the, dev expense until, if YouTube's already working on it, but, just some kind of food for thought there. So let's see here. Matt Miller PCs is our next question. The type of channel is I try to help people build gaming PCs on a budget. The goal of the channel says my goal is to grow a business that can help give me more accessibility with my family. Super cool. The question is, I recently changed my niche. I only had about 200 subscribers when I changed. The channel was dead though. I've not posted in over a year, but I felt it was best for me. I'm wondering if I should have made a new channel. I've already made 14 new videos on the channel and I unlisted all the old ones. My views started out great, but now I kind of flatlined. I'm over the 450 subscribers now, but my views are not the best. Did I make the right decision to just keep everything on the same channel since I was not that far along? So I think you're fine on the same channel as long as that same channel had something to do in terms of reaching the same audience that you're trying to reach now. But the fact that you've already deleted that content off and you are just moving forward with the direction of all the new stuff that you're doing, then in that case, just keep doing what it is that you're doing. As soon as people start responding to the content that's going to quickly, instantly teach YouTube that like, hey, people are enjoying this content, and they'll show it to more of the people that are like the viewers that are enjoying that content. That's basically how it works in a nutshell. So, so because of that, keep moving forward on this one. And since you've already taken off the content that could be bringing in viewers that wouldn't care about the new content, then in that case, you're heading forward with nothing but the content that is the content that you are going to be making into the future. So you should be okay. Just focus all of your efforts on trying to make like really good, videos for your audience and serve them in the best way that you possibly can. Next up, we got Brovester. Brovester says that they do stock markets and value investing. The goal of the channel is to create a wiki of good stocks for retail investors. And the question is, what should be my ideal growth strategy? If you can have a look at my channel, it'd be great. So I don't look at channels during these streams. I only do those on the Tube Spanner channel review streams and on our member streams. So because of that, I don't pull those up here. But when it comes to your growth, best thing you can do is identify all of the questions that the people, especially in the type of content that you have, identify all the questions that your viewers would have about the stock market and value investing, and answer all of those questions with your videos. In addition to that, keep them up to date with everything that's happening in that world so that, you can become a resource for like, hey, this is going down right now. So everybody needs to know about this, right? So become, one of those. And in addition to that, also put out some content that is based on like understanding, as long as the audience that you're trying to reach, like if they need to like understand how some of this stuff works or anything like that, like educational type content, then I would put out some of that content as well. But mostly that content will come in the form of the questions that you're answering. So just answer the questions, keep them up to date with everything that's happening right now, and then you should be fine with that. Those are the things that I would be focusing on right now. In addition to that, I would also talk about some of the things that are just like major events right now that we're dealing with, that like I would hop on Google Trends and I would look for information on like banks failing and like stuff for that like that, and I would just make sure you're staying on top of the headlines, because as those things happen, like people are hitting the internet and they're looking for answers, they're trying to find out information about like what happened, and they're trying to get opinions from YouTubers and other influencers about trying to figure out what they should think about stuff and all that. So because of that, that gives you a great opportunity to grab a lot of attention for yourself on things that people are at scale, like, oh, I got to look into this because I got to figure out what's going on to see if it's going to impact me or not. And you're probably going to have a lot of opportunities like that moving into the near future. Starlo Galetta
to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. So next time you get the chance, go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to Members Amp, which is the service that I'm using to manage my channel memberships. We're going to be moving off of that soon, unfortunately. But right now, that's what we're using. So connect there. Once you do, you're going to have the option to connect to Facebook. If you want into our members only Facebook group, then make sure that you, after you connect there, that you go to Facebook and that you submit the request there to join the group. And then if you can do that before the stream is over today, I'll get you in there as soon as the stream is complete. Let's see here. So next up, we've got Parawoman Radio. Says they do true crime, conspiracy theory, and paranormal. It focuses on women in these fields and crime cases. The goal of the channel says I want to connect women in the unusual. Also want to be a traveling true crime channel. Oh, interesting. The question is, I've asked for donations until I get monetized and have received a grand total of nothing. I don't know how to ask for money or favors like share this video. I say it, but it doesn't happen, or anything else like this. So how do I approach my audience for money? Many people almost resent people who make money off of the internet. I get a lot of comments about how much money I'm making off of these videos and blah, blah, blah. It's true crime and people can be really mad, but I'm not even monetized yet. I've been working at this for a year and I have 730 subscribers. So here's the thing, and I'm just gonna say what it is. So when it comes to some of the audience that you're going to be reaching with some of that content, some of that audience can be really abrasive, for lack of a better way to say it. So for entertainment for myself, like I'll hop on like conspiracy subreddits and stuff, and I'll just interact there just out of like, humor for myself. If you hop on Reddit and you look at my post history, you'll see me interacting there from time to time. But like I'll go over there and I'll like, just kind of ask questions to some of them that hopefully will make them be like, huh, yeah, okay, that is a contradiction to, I am contradicting myself with this like argument or whatever. But like the, like from being in some of those communities, like like some people can be like just really abrasive. And in addition to that, when it comes to like asking for money, if you ask people for money for any D's like the earth is flat. Yeah, if you want a really good time, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, like like there's groups around that too, which are just, yeah, gut splitting, hilarious. Some of those, but like the, oh, I do just add more butter. I do, but it's like fun trolls though. Like it's different. I'm not like a hater troll. I'm like a troll that's in there asking questions to people, trying to make them like kind of collapse in on their own ideas. But anyway, the, when it comes to just asking people for money in general, a lot of people just don't like that whole vibe, like in the first place, right? So you have to make sure that if you are asking for something, that you are giving something in exchange. So, you know, some people will just have the content itself to where, you know, it's like, hey, this is the content and I just have links available to where, you know, people can support the channel if they choose to, but I'm not going to push it, right? And then you have people that in every video that's like, hey, I've got, you know, these, you know, go buy me a coffee or send me money in PayPal or like whatever the thing is. So when you are in your videos and you're just constantly asking for money in like every video, that's going to turn off, you know, a lot of people, especially if there's nothing like substantial that you're offering in return. So I'm actually going to I'm going to look at your channel here. I'm not going to pull it up on my screen, but I'm just going to look at it real quick and just kind of see what it is that you're doing. But like the audience that you're reaching, you know, you are running the risk of just the abrasive nature of, you know, that mindset. In addition to that, you know, asking people for, you know, money all the time, you know, that just turns off, you know, a lot of people, you know, just in general. So, you know, you got to make sure that there is some type of value exchange, because just asking for money for nothing is, you know, like that's definitely not, you know, going to be effective. But I see like some of your videos, you know, like you're getting some views on some of this older content, but you know, some of your new videos are doing like okay too. So, you know, you are getting in front of people. Not a lot. So some of the problem could just be scale. So like, for example, you got a video here, you know, 9 views on it, another one 14, 28, 18, 21, 12, 202, 17. So like if you just run the numbers just by themselves on like, okay, like how many people are actually interacting with my content, if you are, yeah, like you have a total of like 190,000 views on the channel, which is okay. But when you are, you know, looking at like, I'm asking people for this, but nobody's, you know, giving, then in that case, it's like, well, you know, out of like 1,000 people, can't really expect a lot like anyway, right? So because of that, you know, scale, I think, is going to be your friend in that regard. And really, I would just have like a little, you know, graphic that pops up or something that just lets them know like, you know, hey, you know, want to help support the channel, information down in the description. That way you're not actually asking anything. You just have like a little, you know, thing that pops up in your video. And then by doing that, flash your pan, what's going on, man? And then by doing that, you have, you know, you have the awareness that you have those things available. But then I would also start thinking like, if I'm going to be asking for donations, let me also think of something I can do in return. So, you know, you said that you created a GoFundMe. Instead of a GoFundMe, I would actually create like a Patreon. And by creating a Patreon, especially with the audience that you're reaching, you can say things like, you know, I don't know how long, you know, my channel is going to be on YouTube. So because of that, you know, help support me on Patreon, where I upload exclusive content that's not even available on YouTube. And by doing those types of things, then they're actually paying for content, and they're paying for additional content instead of just like sending you money for the sake of sending you money for, you know, nothing happening like in return, so to speak. Let's see here. So really quick, thank you for the super sticker, CZ English. I appreciate it. So next up on the list here, we have, guess what? Corgi Butt is the name of the channel. It's a pet channel with corgis. And the goal of the channel is to get monetized. The question is, good morning, Nick. Good morning. Says, hope you're doing well. I am. Thank you. I hope that you are as well. Says, thank you for doing this for us each and every week. My question is, I started this channel with the intent to make shorts and get monetized. So far, things are going pretty decent. Should I start making long form content with this channel, or just stay the course and keep the grind of what I'm doing? So it comes down, you know, like questions like this are more about like what it is. Hey, Neil's World, what's up, man? It's more about like what it is that you're trying to accomplish with your YouTube channel, right? Like what is it you're actually trying to do? Because you say that the goal is to get monetized. So because of that, if you're just doing shorts right now, just know the requirements involved. So like, for example, J-Rock Gaming, you, sir, are a legend. So like when it comes to your shorts, just know that in order to get monetized with that, you're going to need 10 million views in a 90-day period, 90-day period, and you're going to need 1,000 subscribers from that. Whereas with long form content, technically, if you make one really good video and people really respond to that video in a great way, technically one video could get you monetized on YouTube. So one long video. So because of that, I would definitely mix in some longer form content if you are trying to get monetized, because you might do it in shorts, but you might also be able to do it in long form if you are falling short on the short stuff. No pun intended there. So that is definitely something that I would consider. Let me see something here really quick. Okay, got it. Okay, so next up on our list here, we have Bradley McKnight. Bradley McKnight says, the type of channel is an official artist channel. The goal of the channel is I upload my independent music to get more people listening. And the question is, hey, really quick, Para Women Radio. Oops, sorry.
Welcome to the Nimmin.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure when you get the chance that you go to nimminvip.com. It's going to redirect you to Members Amp, which is the service that I use to manage my channel memberships. That'll be going away soon, but for right now, that's how we're doing it. And with that, just connect. And if you want into the Facebook group, then make sure you connect to Facebook, and then you go and submit the request into the Facebook group, fill out everything, because that's how I verify. I open up Members Amp and I look to make sure you connected there. And then I look at the Facebook group and I look at that request and I just match names and I'm like, okay, this is it. They're in, right? So just make sure you do that. If you can do it before the stream is over, I can get you in there as soon as the stream is done. Let's see here. So next up we have, hey, really quick. So the Goth Farmer says, such a cool member's name. I've been racking my brain for my own. So here's the thing. So this came from the name, the Nimminati, that actually came from a live stream. So that was a community like gift. So Gord Eisman, who used to hang out on these streams on a regular basis, my brother and I, we were doing a live stream, and I was in the same boat because, one of the really important things about branding is that you do have like a name for they call it a tribe, but you have a name for like your group, right? So at that point in time, I was like, man, I'd love to have like a good name, but I don't want to use like squad, or I don't want to use like nation, or like the stuff that everybody uses. So I was like, man, I just want to, like, I'm not going to do it until I can come up with something unique. And then during the live stream, I was like, hey, if you guys have any ideas, let me know. People started, just throwing ideas out there. And then Gord dropped Nimminati in there. And then like everybody's like, oh yeah, Nimminati. We saw it. We're like, oh yeah, that's it. Like knew right away. So that one was like a gift from the community. Just hang in there when you're looking for for a name. Just hang in there. It'll come. It might take a while. Like I said, like I was on YouTube for like I think it might have been 3 years maybe before that name popped up. So hang in there. Let's see here. CZ English, thank you for the super chat, and Six Shop, thank you for the super chat as well. So the question here says, I'm an independent artist. I upload music to YouTube. One day in the future, I want to get this channel into the YouTube partner program. I'm considering adding my music to the YouTube ContentID system. DistroKid, my music distributor, I'm familiar with DistroKid, has a feature where you can whitelist videos and they will release the copyright claim made on that video using the song that I upload. They say that they can't stop the video from ever getting a claim, but they can dispute it when it comes. My question is, does YouTube keep a record of how many times you dispute claims? And if so, will this make my channel fail the review when I apply for the partner program? I haven't reached the monetization requirement yet, but I would just like to know so I can make the decision of whether to submit my songs to YouTube ContentID. Look, when it comes to their ContentID system, it is like wacky. In terms of DistroKid, my brother's more familiar with like how their relationship with YouTube works specifically, because he manages all that for Creator Mix, which is our music service. When it comes to that impacting your ability to monetize, I'm not sure. So if you get like if you get a bunch of claims before you get into the partner program, they're not strikes, right? So strikes might prevent it. But when it comes to the claims, if you're disputing the claims, which you would be, basically any claim that came in, you would dispute it. right? Because you can go in and actually turn that off in DistroKid, or you can go in and actually remove it or whatever in DistroKid. So basically you would go in and go through that process, which would then remove the claim. So by the time you went to get that review on your YouTube channel, then in that case, any of the claims that you did have would have been removed. So in my opinion, and I don't know this is a fact, but in my opinion, I would think the fact that they keep getting removed would be, would make all of that clear. So one thing that I would also keep in mind there is when you are putting like your video description together, maybe even in the video descriptions of all of your videos, even the ones where, or the ones where you're using all of your own music, putting in your video descriptions that all of the music on this channel and in this video is 100% original, music by me. I, have this, protected through like DistroKid. Just kind of put like a little blurb in the description of all of your videos so that if their reviewers go and they start looking at your, channel and they start looking at your videos, hopefully they'll look in your descriptions for context or whatever, and they'll see that, and then they can make that connection, with themselves that like, okay, they had these claims, they've all been removed. So there's not really a problem here. And while reviewing this channel and looking at it, I see in the description of this video that they are making this disclaimer that all this music is original in their own and that it's done through DistroKid. So like, I wouldn't worry about like saying that, hey, if this gets a claim, or like, I wouldn't worry about that, but I would just say that, that this is all your original music, everything is 100% yours, blah, blah, blah. So then that way, and one way that you might want to frame it is say that like, all the music on this channel is 100% created by me. I do not give people permission to use this, in their content. And if you do, through my relationship with DistroKid, there will be a copyright claim that, comes in, or like whatever. You might want to frame it that way. Come up with a better way to say it than that. But come up with a way to frame it to where it's like, this is all my original stuff and I don't give you permission to use it because, I'm kind of policing it through this service that I use. And then that way, hopefully the reviewer would have context. But again, like that's not something that I can guarantee. But that, like, if I was trying to do what it is that you're doing, that would be the approach that I would take in order to like, make sure that, I'm giving myself the best possible chance.
Super chat.
CZ English says, what affiliate deals would you recommend for English learning channels for adults? By the way, thanks for everything. I've grown to 10,000 subscribers plus running a business thanks to you. High five and fist bump to you. Nice work. Crushing it. Love it. So congratulations on that. So when it comes to affiliate programs, the best thing you can do is just hop on Google and just look for affiliate programs for if they're learning English, then say like, best, affiliate programs for, wouldn't be English speakers. Yeah. However you present that, I guess it would be for people learning English maybe. Here, hold on. Best affiliate programs for people learning English. All right, so we've got them. So we have best language affiliate programs. So this is just one of the links that are right here, but they have like best language. We have top 10 learn English online affiliate programs. We have the 28 best language affiliate programs of 2023, 13 learning English online affiliate programs, top 10 ESL affiliate programs. So you've got them in here. So just if you hop on Google, you'll find those same links. And just go and just explore them. Here's what I recommend, because you are going to, like when it comes to promoting something as an affiliate, this is just an important thing to make sure that you're always keeping in mind. The things that you promote and the experience that people have with those things is also going to be a reflection of you. Right? So if somebody is going and they are having trouble, with that particular thing that you are recommending, then that reflects poorly on you, and the people that you're recommending, that thing to are going to be less likely to take your recommendations in the future, which can hurt you long term because it's a dent on your reputation, right? So because of that, one thing that I would do is anything that you are going to promote as an affiliate, because of the type of content that you make, you should be able to get access. Basically hit them up, contact all the different companies that you're going to promote as an affiliate and get in touch with them and say, look, I got this channel, 10,000 subscribers on it. I'm wanting to, bring attention to your products and I want to promote it as an affiliate, but I need access so that I can, go through the course, make sure that, this is a good fit for my viewers. And the people that are willing to play ball with that, and like, yeah, well, sure. Yeah, we'll let you in. Here's, some logins, blah, blah. Those are the people that you want to work with, as long as when you do go in, you go through it and you're like, yeah, this is a great course, or like whatever the thing is. So the reason you want to work with those people is because those people understand the value of an affiliate, and those people are going to be more than willing to work with you in the future. Because like, one thing is, if you have like, one or two things that you primarily promote as an affiliate, in a weird way, it kind of, it can start to become connected with your brand as well. So like, as an example, like I've done like extremely well with TubeBuddy over time. And because of that, there was a period of time to where I was like streaming on the TubeBuddy channel all the time and all of that. Even in my videos at the time, like I would always have a TubeBuddy something, like somewhere in my video. I even have it, right now when I switch to this camera. I think it's this one right here. You can see the TubeBuddy pillow right here. But like, when it came to that, there was a lot of, I got a lot of comments of people asking me if I like own TubeBuddy and like things like that, which I don't. But, people were asking me those questions because they would see me in all these, different, TubeBuddy related things, and they're advertising, because I was, good friends with, or became friends with the original, founders. Like, they had like me as like part of like some of their graphics and like stuff like that. So it just kind of painted that picture because our relationship was so great. Right. But when it comes to the people that you're going to be promoting as an affiliate, just, try to work with the people that are willing to work with, the people that are promoting them, and just make sure that you go through their stuff so that you can confirm that every single viewer that you're sending there is going to have a great experience. Because if you can give them good recommendations and they go through it and they're like, wow, this is great, this really helped me out, now I'm like, so much better, I have a better understanding at this or whatever, then what's going to happen is the next time they watch your channel and you're like, hey, I've got this, other thing that you should check out, this app that came out that you should check out or whatever, they're going to go and check that out too. And then, 2 months later, you're like, oh, hey, this new thing came out. They're going to go check that out too. But if you're like, hey, go check out this, course, and they go in there and they're like, man, the sign up process was hard. Like the page wouldn't even load. I was trying to get in there and I couldn't even get into it. But then once I did, I got in, everything's like confusing. The information isn't like, really, that great. Like, and they get that bad experience. Then the next thing that you like, that app comes out and you're like, hey, check this out, or you build your own app and you're like, hey, check this out. They're going to be like, no, I already listened to one of your recommendations. I'll just watch your YouTube videos. Thanks. And then this other thing, program comes out and you're like, hey, check this out. It's like the best ever. And they're going to be like, no, thanks. I tried this one thing that you recommended and it kind of sucked. So, I'm not going to do that. Right. So the research that you do on your end in the short term will be extremely beneficial to you in the long term. Let's see here. So next up on the list, we've got Fly 444. They do all things travel and self-love motivation. The goal of the channel is branding Fly 444 and monetizing. The question is, can you critique my channel? Nope, not right now. So we only do those in member streams, and we do those on the Tube Spanner channel when we do the Tube Spanner channel reviews. We actually just did one Friday. We've done it the last 2 Fridays in a row, and then we did it on like some other day, the previous week. But looking at channels and stuff, yeah, I don't do that during these streams. Let's see here. So next up, we have Kids Learning and Growing. They do daily content. The type of channel is kids, toy, learning, and educational videos. The goal of the channel has some fun and make some extra money. The question is, I have the following note on a few of my videos, but the analytics show that it's flatlining. If the following note is there, why aren't these videos taking off more? Here's the quote. Views are up 85%. More regular viewers are choosing to watch this video, and they're watching longer than usual, helping to increase its reach on YouTube recommendations. So helping to increase its reach and recommendations does not mean that it's going to go viral, right? It means that they're, going to show it to more people because people are enjoying it. That might happen rapidly, or it might happen slowly over time. So when you get those messages, it's a positive thing. It means that you're heading in the right direction, that you're doing the right things. But keep in mind, when you first publish a video, the performance of that video doesn't always dictate the long-term performance of that video. So like when you publish that video, like right now, it seems like there's not like much happening, or it might seem like there's not much happening with that video. But when they're telling you that views are up here because more regular viewers are choosing to watch this video, what the system is doing is it's looking for more people that would be a good fit for that video. And when they're there, it's going to show it to them, and it'll keep doing that as long as people keep positively responding to it. So, you know, just because, you know, views are up 85% and people are enjoying it more, like your views are up 85% because people are enjoying it more. So you're already winning there, but it will keep winning as long as people continue to keep responding to it. It just might not win at the level that you would hope. You know, it might not go viral, but if people are enjoying it more, then you've already received an 85% increase in your typical view counts on your videos. Let's see here. Next up, we have Rock Late Meditations by Scott. Every other day is their upload. They have a meditation channel. Nice, love it. The goal of the channel is to help others find inner balance for relaxation, mindfulness, and personal development. For you, didn't do it right here. Hold on. For you, it's just for you. Meditation channel. So they say, I'm prepping to start doing live streams. It's a bit scary to start off. Should I do shorter streams like 30 minutes to test the waters? What length of time do you suggest for me to gauge the performance of the live stream for the playback on demand? So first getting started. Okay, so a few things. First, when it comes to, when it first comes to you, you know, starting the stream and it being scary, keep in mind that, you know, when it comes to live streaming, people are extremely tolerant. If you've been watching my videos or my streams for any amount of time, you'll see I've been doing this for years and I still run into all kinds of problems during streams. Sometimes my audio is off. Sometimes things are too loud. Sometimes I have internet connection problems and everything will go down. Like, you know, things happen. So people are really tolerant when it comes to live streams. So just keep that in mind and don't let it bother you like too much. Next, in terms of shorter streams, like 30 minutes, this comes down to what it is you're trying to do. So like, if you think that the experience that you're going to be taking people through would be better as like an hour, then do it an hour. If you think that you can do what you need to do in 15 minutes, do it in 15 minutes. If you think that it would be best for 30 minutes, then do it in 30. There's no law or rule, obviously not a law, but there's no rule that says that you have to stream for a certain amount of time. So what you want to think about is, if you're going to be doing live streaming a lot, is you say, okay, I'm going to do these types of live streams and these are going to be roughly about this long because that's how long it needs to take. And if I'm going to do these types of streams, then I can do it in 10 minutes. So I'm just going to do those, right? Like a quick, you know, hey, we're going to take a quick, you know, focus break. And here's a quick 10-minute, you know, session. And then by doing that, you are going to make different lengths of content that will help, you know, be accessible for people that are looking for different things. So like, as an example, one thing that I would do is I would go and I would make content around just the common lengths of time that people will typically meditate for. So, you know, I mean, it's different for everybody, but some people will do like 5 minutes, some people will do 10 minutes, some people will do 20 minutes, some people will do 30 or an hour. So just making times, you know, around the ways that, you know, people will typically meditate would be the approach that I would take for that. But I think starting off at like a 30 minutes or less to test the waters is a great length, because especially if you're getting started, like people aren't really familiar with what it is that you're offering yet. So when you are doing those shorter streams, it lowers the amount of time that people need to commit in order to experience your content. So then that way it makes it a little bit more friendly for people that are not already interested in your content. Let's see here. Next up, we've got Learn Spanish World. Educational content. The goal of the channel is to provide regular Spanish lessons for my community and eventually work as a full-time YouTube teacher. Question. Hey, Nick, love your streams. Thank you for your consistency. I heard YouTube would allow educational channel to sell premium courses on the platform. Any idea when this will be announced? I have access to this already on my channel. I just don't have any course material that I've uploaded into there yet, but I have it on my channel. So like they're, you know, it's experimenting. It's in experimental mode right now, or beta mode, where some content creators have the ability to use it right now. And then basically how that works is they let people use it. And then as people are using it, then they look for like problems that they're having, in any way, front end, back end, user experience, whatever. And then once they kind of patch up those holes, they'll let it out to like a bigger group of people. And then, they'll let it out to a bigger group of people. And then eventually they'll let it out to, everybody that hits the thresholds. So when it comes to that, we're there. It's just, a matter of just getting through that beta process. And you have over 100,000 subscribers, so you'll meet the requirements for it. But all you got to do here is just wait just a little bit, and it should be coming out, relatively soon. Let's see here. Next up on our list here, we got McCrousey Minecraft. They do PG kid-friendly gaming channel. The goal of the channel is to have fun, entertain people and make money. The question is, hey Nick, it's been my dream to do YouTube since I was in a previous school in 5th grade. I want to know if I were to make a website for my viewers on my channel to go to, what do you recommend me to put there for the viewers to see and maybe use? By the way, I have no idea how to create my own custom website. I can't code. I would lose my mind if I was the one trying to create it. I don't have a website. What do I put on that website? Okay, right now, if you are getting started with your YouTube channel, hold on, let me see what you're doing here. If you are just getting started, focus right now, because you're gonna need viewers. Because it looks like you don't even have a video yet, so you're gonna need viewers. So because of that, I would put 100% of your focus right now on getting content out and, going through the process of learning how to get people to respond to your content. As like a side thing of doing your website, if you are doing gaming content, and you're targeting kids with that content, if it's like PG kid friendly content, then in that case, I'm not even sure if a website would be a great fit for that, outside of just having like branding information and sponsorship information. Not branding information, but like sponsorship information. With the sponsorship information, basically you just have a page to where if somebody wanted to work with you, would have information about that. It'd be like a media kit essentially, but it'd be on your website. So with that, you could also add, merchandise and, those types of things, which you mentioned here in your comment as well. Technically, you could even have like, once you get going, you could submit to like Amazon's affiliate program, and you could also put like a page on there that would link people to like your Amazon influencer store, stuff like that, where you can have like all of the stuff that you use for your gaming in there, controllers you use, headsets you use, the consoles that you use, links to like PS5 cards, stuff like that. But basically, you would have all that stuff in there for the affiliate side of things. And by doing that, it's going to make it where you can, where you can bring attention to those things to the people that are, interacting with your content if you choose to. Okay, next up here. So actually really quick, so it looks like my brother and Daniel are getting ready to, are turning their screen on right now. Yep, they're live right now. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for hanging out here during the stream. So here's what's going on. So my brother D and Daniel Batal are getting ready to, or actually they're live right now, but they're going to be looking at YouTube channels and giving people feedback on their YouTube channels. So I've had a handful of requests here during the stream where people are like, hey, we look at my channel. Since I don't do that on this stream, this is a great opportunity to have them pull up your channel and give you like feedback on something. So I really recommend that you head over to that stream and check it out. You don't have to do anything. You can just sit there, because as soon as I hit end broadcast, it's going to head over to their stream. So I'm going to end this right here in just a second. But before I do, for all of you that are new, when you hear the, all these stuff that we talk about here in these live streams, some of this might seem like, man, I got a lot of stuff that I have to do. I have this huge, mountain ahead of me, or I have this, huge amount of work ahead of me. Keep in mind that YouTube, it is tough. If it wasn't, then, everybody, would have gigantic YouTube channels. So it is tough, and it does take, time and effort and, just some patience to kind of, learn how to do everything. But what I recommend that you do is if you have, if you've heard something during the stream and you think to yourself, like, man, I I know I need to work on that, but I'm not really like sure, like, you know, the details of what he was talking about. Just write it down right now. And then once everything, you know, once the stream is over, like hop on Google and just start looking for information about those things, because the best thing you can do is like inform yourself on like what everything means and how the system works and like all of that, so that you can, you know, so that you can understand the field, so to speak, that you're going to be competing in. Because even though on YouTube, you know, we stay in our own lanes and we compete against ourselves, we are also competing with every other video on YouTube that the system thinks that our audience is a good, you know, candidate for. So, you know, we do have to get our content to like a certain level for the viewer experience. So, you know, just make sure that you are thinking of that and that you're just being patient with yourself, because, you know, like it's really easy to build up these expectations of like, hey, you know, it has to be this way by this time and all of that. But like, just be patient with yourself and give yourself the space that you need to just like learn how to do the thing, and just, you know, focus every single week on just trying to, you know, get like something in place. Like, okay, this week I'm trying to get better at this. And then every spare minute that you have, if you're somebody that's like trying to take this seriously, every spare minute you have, be watching YouTube videos about it, be reading articles about it, you know, be looking in your own analytics, cross-referencing things, looking at your own videos, cross-referencing things, you know, things like that. And just make sure that you just give yourself the patience, because a lot of people will stop because they build up these expectations of what their experience is going to be like. And if it's not matching that expectations, instead of saying, I just have more that I have to learn, they just give it up. So if this is something that you really want to do, even as a hobby, just, you know, make sure you give yourself that patience, and that you every single week try to work on something to get better. So have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for hanging out in the stream. Hope that you learned something today, and make sure you hit the like button on the way out. And I'm going to hit this right now. It's going to send you right over to their stream so you can get a channel review. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time.